BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: demands of money for the failed Luton Girls' Academy is paid back. 4 Luton men jailed in gun crime crackdown, and success for Sam Smith at the Grammys.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's demands that the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton should pay back the grant they received. The government has withdrawn its support for the school, and the Labour MP for Luton South, Gavin Shuker, fears the Education Department won't get a penny back.
I don't know what this money was spent on. That's where I now go in terms of trying to get parliamentary answers. But if the Department for Education can't give me a decent answer as to where this public money was spent, I'm sorry, they've failed on their duty. And we can go after the people that have spent it, but I'm sorry, ultimate political accountability lands with ministers who were asleep on the job.
4 men have been jailed as part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton. They were caught with a sawn-off shotgun after a police stakeout. Jane Killick reports.
The court heard that in June last year, 19-year-old Dylan Beckford and 25-year-old Dion Ellis bought an angle grinder to cut down the stolen shotgun. When armed police raided a bedsit in Russell Rise, they threw the gun and its barrel out of the window. 23-year-old Alex Myers and 44-year-old Victor Martin were also convicted and were all sentenced to between 6.5 and 7 years in prison.
The family of a 3-year-old girl who was knocked down in Luton have raised £3,000 for a survey of the road where she died. Maya Shahzad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road 6 months ago. The police say it was an accident, but Maya's mother, Shazia, disagrees.
There's no safe crossings in Bury Park. If you go from walk from the plaza to the top, there is no safe crossing. How would people that are going out, where are they supposed to cross from?
Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night at the Grammys. The singer, who grew up on the Hertfordshire border and went to school in Bishop Stortford, won 4 awards, including Best New Artist and Record of the Year. Our correspondent in Los Angeles, Peter Bowes, says it's unusual for someone so new to the music world to do so well.
An extraordinary achievement for Sam Smith. He's only 22 years. He's only really been on the music scene, at least as far as most people are aware, especially here in the United States, for a couple of years. And to win Record of the Year in his first big year at the Grammys, the same year that he wins Best New Artist, is a very rare achievement.
Meanwhile, at the BAFTAs, Boyhood was named Best Film, but The Imitation Game, which tells the story of Bletchley Park codebreaker Alan Turing, failed to win any of its 9 nominations. In sport, there were wins for Watford and Wickham over the weekend, a draw for Luton, but defeat for Stevenage, and fresh from holding the League One leaders Bristol City to a goalless draw, MK Dons visit Bradford this evening. The weather will be generally cloudy today, with mist and fog patches slow to clear through the day. Top temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius. That's 43 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Well, didn't the Los Angeles correspondent, who I didn't know we had, didn't he sound like he had his finger on the pulse of popular entertainment? He's only a young man, he's only been on the music scene a while, but he really is making his name for himself across in the States. Didn't he sound like he knew what the kids were talking? He's only been on the music scene a while, but he really is making his name for himself over here in the United States of...
Who was he talking about, Roger Daltrey?
I've got no idea.
Sam Smith.
Samuel Smith. 2 of the blandest names put together into one of the blandest bodies.
Oh,
He really is making a name for himself over here in the United States of America. And we've got to say, hats off to that young fella. Let's hope he does well next year as well. Didn't know we had a Los Angeles correspondent. Can I be the Los Angeles correspondent? Oh no, I hate Los Angeles. Hey, Dealey's back.
Dealey's back.
Yeah.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
And that really is all you need to know, isn't it? That Justin Dealey's back in the building and he's brought hobnobs with him and he's orange.
yeah. I thought we might get, big pencils or rainbow rubbers or something, with
Hobnobs?
Barbados or the Caribbean written on it.
Are they Caribbean hobnobs?
I think they must be, yeah. There must be a delicacy over there.
No.
Just normal, your bog standard hobnob,
It's
eh?
as if he's just called in at the garage on the way over.
Now, at the end of Friday's show, it emerged just how much public money had been given to a school in Luton that never was, and looks as if it never will be. £180,000. That's the amount given to the company behind the application for the Luton Girls Academy, a company who couldn't or wouldn't tell us where they planned to put this school until a few weeks ago, and still hasn't told parents it won't be happening at all, although the website is, well, what you showed me the website. How have they revealed the news on the website, Catherine?
The headline, breaking news. Just the headline.
That's it. They don't tell you nothing. Well, Bodril Amin is from the Luton branch of the National Union of Teachers. Morning, Bodril. What's your reaction to the fact that nearly £200,000 of public money has been spent on, well, not a lot, it would appear?
Oh, good morning. Well, the whole free school programme set by the government, it's a farce. And, this is just an example of how public money can be wasted on schools, being built, or in this case, not being built in places where there's demands for primary school places.
In this instance, the idea of a school like this hasn't worked, but there are examples where it has worked. You can't knock the whole system just because of this one, can you?
Well, there's been quite a few examples where the free schools have actually failed. The issue with the free schools is that they're not built where there's places where there's need. It's built sort of where people feel that they don't have a new school. So, for example, in Luton, there is a shortage of primary school places. There are other places where there's a shortage of places, but schools are not being built. And local authorities are not allowed to build new schools. So what we're having is a lot of money being wasted on a vanity project, in effect.
Bodril?
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I was the sentence that went upwards, and I assume there are more words, but that was my misinterpretation. But just because someone is, the primary schools aren't being opened, you can't knock other people for opening other schools, can you?
Well, the issue is that obviously prior to 2010...
If parents or charities feel that they want to set up a school, they are empowered to do so with this free school system.
But what we're saying is there is a national crisis at the moment with the shortage of school places. Now,
and they're building more schools, so that's got to be fantastic.
Yeah, but the schools are not necessarily being built where there is a need. And this is the whole issue. What we want to see is a schools built on a needs basis. Where there's a need...
But that's not happening. That's not. You could still campaign for schools to be built on a needs basis.
But it's not, the reason why it's not happening is because the local authorities are not allowed to build schools. And that's the reason why...
OK, but you could still campaign for local authorities to be allowed to build schools... and also allow these organisations, these charities, these parents who feel the need to set up a school where they are. Why can't both systems exist?
Well, we have a system in this country which worked perfectly well, where we had local authorities given the funds, given the money to build schools where there's a need for school places, and it's a system that worked. So all of a sudden now we've had this new government come in place. Yeah. They've brought in this free school system from 2010 onwards. To look at if it's successful or not.
But Bodril, I don't understand. If you're saying you don't like free schools simply because local councils aren't allowed to open their own primary schools, well, surely you can have both systems. You surely, instead of campaigning against free schools, you should be campaigning for local councils to be allowed to open up primary schools. It does sound, Bodril, that the NUT, obviously not great fans of Tories or the coalition government, it does just sound like you're trying to make political points.
No, we're not trying to make a political point. What you have to look at is the free school system in Sweden. It's been in place for 20 years. They've had free schools. It's been a complete failure.
But Bodril, again...
They've tumbled down the PISA rankings. It's led to a lot of social problems in Sweden. So There's a system.
Well, then why don't we do what we can to improve the system over here to make sure it works? Why don't you leave free schools alone? Let them get on with what they're doing. Because as you say, listen, there is a shortage of school places everywhere. I can't imagine a school popping up where there isn't a shortage of school places. So let them get on doing what they're doing and succeeding where they are succeeding, and campaign for local councils to be allowed to open primary schools.
Well, it's not simply just a case of having both systems in place, because
it's one or the other, is it, in your opinion?
Well, no, there's an accountability issue with free schools. As you can see with this free school application, no one knows who these people are. No one knows what they're being up to.
Different argument.
There's an accountability issue as well.
Okay.
What we're doing is the government is giving £1 billion to a lot of these organisations, not knowing where the money.
How much money? Sorry.
£1 billion has been allocated to free schools.
Yeah, but they are accountable.
Well, who's holding them to account?
Well, it will be the Department for Education.
Well, clearly in this situation they failed.
Clearly this is still early days in this situation, Bodwell. This is still very early days, and I imagine that the Department for Education will be investigating where that money has gone. But also, you're kind of shutting down one argument and moving on to something else. You've not been able to say. You're now saying it's accountability. You've not been able to say why we can't have both systems, the free school system and you guys campaigning for local councils to be allowed to open primary schools.
Well, no,
it just feels like you've got beef.
we don't just have beef. It's actually the system, the free school system, and what we are saying is that local authorities, democratically elected local authorities. What's wrong with giving the money to democratically elected local authorities, which was the situation prior to 2010, having that money to spend on school places based on need? That's what we're basically saying.
Bodwell, thank you very much indeed. Bodwell Amin from the Luton branch of the National Union of Teachers.
Deceive me, now here's a surprise. I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. If you think that I don't know about the little tricks you play, and never see you when deliberately you put things in my way, well, here's a poke at you. You're gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. You took advantage of my trust in you when I was so far away. I saw you holding lots of other guys, and now you've got the nerve to say that you still want me. Well, that says maybe, but you gotta stand trial, because all the while I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. I know you've deceived me, now here's a surprise. I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh. gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and 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 miles. I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles.
I'm going to murder Iain Lee. Have you ever seen a cat when it gets into its basket? It'll turn and turn and turn and stick its paws into the bottom. Right, and it sounds when it gets on your lap and it digs its paws into your leg because it thinks it's going to sleep on a snake.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Aylesbury, looking at the speed sensors, the A41 starting to look a little bit busy between Exchange Street and Oxford Road. Elsewhere, there's some roadworks on the A413 in Whitchurch. There's temporary lights at the junction for Oving Road, which could get busy later on. In High Wycombe, having a look at the A40, there's no delays at the moment through the roadworks, but they are in both directions at Oxford Street, so that could cause some problems later on. And in Watford, looking at the speed sensors, it's all moving well on St Albans Road through the roadworks at Kingsway at the junction for the A405 and Horseshoe Lane. On the train departure boards, no reports of any major problems so far. Samantha Brough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
6:16, it's Monday the 9th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. There's demands that the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton should pay back the grant they received. 4 men have been jailed as part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton. And singer Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night, taking 4 awards at the Grammys. And the weather will be on today.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On Inside Out, as a charity is shut down and under investigation, we talk to the mothers who sounded the alarm. We find out why one man is so angry about people who park on pavements, and how the rediscovery of an ancient recipe for plaster is saving our East Anglian heritage. That's Inside Out with me, David Whiteley, tonight, 7:30 on BBC One.
Wash your face in my sink. In my sink. You wash your face in my sink. In my sink. Sink. You wash your face in my sink. In my sink. Sink. You wash your face in my sink. Simplicity with synchronicity makes a mind melt. Revealed impossible like a walk through a minefield. Sadly, get up to bat and take a swing thing. Should I? Shouldn't I? Try. Too late. You sunk into the sink that I wash my face. You wash your face in my sink. In my sink. Sink. You wash your face in my sink. In my sink. Sink. You wash your face in my sink. Tougher. That's what I'm getting rougher. And you beat me, suffer. The loss of an attempt well tried. Well, your side tried, but my side will never be denied. Cause I'm swinging and stinging neglection with an injection of truth. I've come to untwist the twisted youth. How does it feel now that I got you all to think? Yeah, and wash your face in my sink. In my sink. You wash your face in my sink. Here I go, and here I go again. I have a little place to send a little false friend who tried to mess me up with little negative thoughts. A little negative taught me to never ever leave my fame into the hands of incompetence. That makes sense. So now I'll change tune, for the tune allows changes for you to take a breath while your brain rearranges. What I just spoke into a language called speech. You try to catch it, but you just can't reach. But you leave a ring around the basin when you wash your face in my sink. In my sink. You wash your face in my sink. I love Big Bum. Now the basin is clean to the gleam of the eye. You constantly lie when doves cry out that you are not about what you say. The image, the field you reveal and portray. For never ever will I fall to the effects of bandwagonism. So please listen, up, not down, for down is the devil. So roll like a boulder and not like a pebble. You roll like a rock, you roll like a rebel. For this is pure pain, pick axe and the shovel. Hear no command, hear just warning. If you wake up in the morning and wash your face in my sink. wash your face in my sink. Swing on the grounds of the playground, the wire to the amp to improve the sound. I mean, give me an MIC that is clean and witness the warriors of the dream. For the bigger the orange is the bigger the peel. Thieves who steal get a wheel for real. A spin till it fin or until I give a pardon. Me, I never promised you a rose garden or nourishment, just punishment for a fink who thinks he can wash his face in our sink. You wash your face in my sink.
It's an idea that's been mooted several times that people who deliberately make unhealthy choices should pay for some of their NHS treatment. It's what a Buckinghamshire-born Conservative MP told a Sunday newspaper. Well, join me now is Simon Clark from the pro-smoking lobbying group Forest. Morning, Simon.
Morning, Ian.
Did you get your lights fixed in your hotel?
It's a bit gloomy here, I have to say.
I've been reading your Twitter feed and everything. Yes, everything went a little bit dark. What do you think about this idea? It pops up from time to time, doesn't it?
It does, and I mean, I personally am not against the idea of a privatised NHS where people do have to, pay extra for various things. But I think this Conservative MP needs to be honest that if we go down this route, it is the end of the NHS as we know it, because the NHS was set up on the basis that people would not be discriminated against on the basis of their race, creed, colour and lifestyle. And clearly this will be discriminating against people on the basis of their lifestyle. I think also it's a rather crass comment on a number of levels, because first of all, smokers already pay an additional £10 billion a year in tobacco taxation, so they are already making a huge contribution to the welfare state in tobacco taxation. Same thing applies to drinkers as well. And of course, the other problem with it is that apart from, say, lung cancer, where about 80% of sufferers tend to be smokers, so there's a clear correlation there. Most so-called smoking-related diseases are what they call multifactorial, so therefore smoking may be a factor, but there are other factors involved as well. So it's actually very difficult to say, yes, definitely, you've got your heart disease or whatever it might be as a direct result of smoking. So it's difficult to pin the blame on it. Same with drinking as well, apart from unless you have perhaps liver disease or something. And so I don't see how hospitals are going to be able to say people have definitely got ill as a result of smoking, drinking, whatever.
I suppose one argument could be, and I'm not saying this is necessarily what I think, but if you are doing things that are known to increase the chances of you being ill, for example, being massively overweight or smoking heavily, why should the NHS cover the costs? If you're not going to meet them halfway, I guess is what I'm saying. If you're not prepared to make some changes to your lifestyle, why should the NHS do anything for them?
Well, no, I do understand that argument, but as I say, that takes us away from the concept of the NHS, which was not to discriminate against people on that basis. And you would no longer have the NHS. Now, why don't politicians actually come out and say, look, we want to go down a route of private health insurance?
You know why they won't say that, Simon, because they'd never get voted back in.
Precisely. Now, that's if they had the honesty to say that, I wouldn't have a problem. That basically, if you were taking out private health insurance, you presumably have to say how many units of alcohol you drink each week, or how many cigarettes you smoke a day, and so on. And then your health insurance would be worked out as a result of that. So fair enough, that's the way they want to go. But under the NHS, it's simply, it's not going to work.
I suppose part of the thing, I mean, yeah, when the NHS was set up, it was, for everybody. But there are loads more of us now, and we're all living longer. And as we know, or as suggested by some people, the NHS can't cope. So perhaps they do have to cut corners slightly and exclude some people who aren't prepared to work at, meet them halfway.
Yes, but again, that's a fair enough argument. But again, they have to say, look, we've got to completely change the NHS from what we've known it. We've got to encourage more people to take out private health insurance in the same way that you take out insurance on your house, on your car, and so many things. I mean, these are all, I mean, you're legally bound to take out car insurance. Well, if they want to push us down the line of having private health insurance, then fair enough, but they've got to be honest about it. And I think the trouble is, though, in terms of picking on smokers or drinkers or whatever, where do you stop? What about people who play rugby, for example, or extreme sports?
Ban them all, Simon. I don't want them clogging up any... Hey, listen, can I ask you a question? Why are you pro-smoking? I used to be a smoker, and even when I was a smoker, I knew it was bloody horrible. Why are you pro-smoking, Simon?
Well, I must confess, I was going to take you up on that when you first introduced me as pro-smoking. We're not pro-smoking, we're actually pro-choice. Okay. I'm actually a lifelong non-smoker. I mean, we basically just take the point, and I take the view on a personal level that tobacco is a legal product. Smokers contribute £10 billion a year in tobacco taxation. Therefore, this current sort of official policy of denormalising smokers, I think, is completely wrong. I think smokers are treated very badly, actually, these days. I'm not suggesting that smoking is a good idea or it's something we want to encourage. We don't. But there are still 10 million people in this country who smoke. Many people enjoy smoking. I accept a lot of people want to cut down or quit. But as long as tobacco remains a legal product, I do think smokers should have some rights. They shouldn't be allowed to smoke wherever they want. But this idea that you can't even have separate smoking rooms and pubs and clubs, for example, I think is absolutely outrageous, because you've got to be allowed to smoke somewhere if it's a legal product.
Simon, go downstairs, have your buffet breakfast. Thank you very much for your time. Simon Clark from Forest.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M11 southbound, there's been an accident involving a number of vehicles between junction 9 for Saffron Walden and 8 for Bishop Stortford. That's causing some queues between that stretch. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's starting to build up between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And it's also looking very busy on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. The North Circular Road is also beginning to build up queues between the East End Road Tunnel and the A1 at Henley's Corner. And elsewhere in Milton Keynes on the A421 Standing Way. That's all moving fine at the moment around the Kingston roundabout, but there are roadworks there, so expect some delays. Looking at the public transport departure boards, there's no major delays showing up there at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Lee Agnew. The headline says demands that the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton should pay back the grant they received. The government has withdrawn its support for the school, which was due to open in September. 4 men have been jailed as part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton. The gang tried to throw a sawn-off shotgun out of their flat window during a raid by armed police. The family of a 3-year-old girl who was knocked down in Luton have raised £3,000 for a survey of the road where she died. Maya Shahzad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road 6 months ago. And Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night, taking 4 awards at the Grammys. The weather will be cloudy today with mist and fog patches slow to clear. Top temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius, that's 43 degrees Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
There were wins for Watford and Wickham over the weekend, a draw for Luton but defeat for Stevenage, and fresh from holding the League One leaders Bristol City to a goalless draw, MK Dons visit Bradford this evening. The Dons will check on the fitness of striker Dean Bowditch, who came off injured on Saturday. The rapid turnaround means a night on the road for Dons boss Carl Robinson and his squad.
We're going to a restaurant now, all the players and the staff, and then we're going off to a hotel, and we're camping in a hotel. Well, not camping. I'll say it'll be cold. We're putting our tents up. No. I would have thought of Delhi Monday when I got to the hotel, but no, we're going to set up base at a hotel because our training ground's been frozen. We've not been training on grass all week either.
And non-league Boreham Wood go to Farnborough in Conference South tonight. Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton says there's no reason why he can't see out his Formula One career with Mercedes. The twice world champion has told the BBC he can't see himself going anywhere else.
Absolutely, there's no reason why that couldn't be the case. But of course you can never say never. You never know what's going to happen in the future. But I've been with Mercedes since I was 13, so at the moment I can't see myself anywhere else. And the great thing is you're part of a family with Mercedes-Benz, and it really is one of the most iconic brands in the world, so I'm really proud to be a part of it.
And finally, England's cricketers have held the West Indies to 122 at their World Cup warm-up match in Sydney. England are currently 33 without loss in reply. BBC 3 Counties News and Sport, more at 7 o'clock.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC 3 Counties Radio.
I'm going to come out and say it. I don't like Lewis Hamilton. There's no reason why I shouldn't stay at Mercedes. Yeah, what you're saying is, can someone send me a telephone number with a £pound sign at the front of it, please, and I'll come and drive for you?
Listen, cut the lad some slack. He's been dumped from quite a high place.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about Nicole Scherzinger.
He has. How can I put this? He has knowledge of Nicole Scherzinger that the rest of us can only dream about. The very fact that he's climbed the peak of Mount Scherzinger means he has got nothing. I've got no sympathy for that man.
Ever.
He's seen the hills and the valleys and the canyons and the caves of the island of Scherzinger. So I've got no sympathy for him.
But in return, she was...
No, in my luck, the best I could end up is one of the Atomic Kitten girls as they are now. Have you seen that picture of them trying to look sexy, and they look like mums on a hen night?
3 shades of satin.
Flippin' heck!
It was highly flammable and not the hotness they wanted. I mean, the outfits that they're wearing, I mean, they're kind of being modelled by Myleene Klass in various publications today.
I don't know what paper it's in, but the 3 original, the original Atomic Kitten girls, including Kerry Katona, have got back together to perform at GAY. GAY is a club in London where it turns out rubbish old acts with bingo wings go and sing because apparently gays love that. Thank God I'm straight. Oh dear, they look awful though. They've all dressed up in the bondage is the new black, is the new Friday night, is the new going out, is the new staying in, is the new box set.
Does that mean that vanilla is the new filth?
Yes. So, everyone, I mean, the front page of The Sun, phew, what a torture. Bondage, whips and custard pies. 3 free erotic books. Oh, for goodness sakes. Yeah, I bet Lewis Hamilton doesn't need erotic books. Scherzinger's up there. Always up there, forevermore. Always up there.
Yeah.
Speaking of girls in their pants, so it really is Myleene Klass, Myleene Klass Backlash.
Yes.
Is a film that I would pay top dollar to see. She obviously was in the papers last week because she was being rude about a mum who was... they're both idiots.
Yeah.
The mum wanted £10 from all the other mums for an iPad.
So that they could get a decent present for their child rather than lots of little bits and bobs.
Yeah. Well, Myling Class came out and said that was crazy. Then the mum was in the paper in the weekend saying, yeah, that was 5 months ago, Myling, what are you banging on about? And now the headmistress of the private school has come out and said, quote, as my granny would have said, if you can't tweet anything nice, don't tweet anything at all. So she's been told off by the headmistress. Mm. But she's a classy mum, Myling Class, and you can understand, she wants the best for her kids and she wants, her daughter to do well, and she doesn't want anything cheap and tacky and nasty. Until you go to page 2 and 3 of The Sun, where she's in her pants that she's designed for Littlewoods. And they look like a fire hazard, don't they?
There's a lot of man-made fibre there.
She looks like, this leopard skin print, she looks like, I'm going to say it, a cheap... She does, doesn't she? That looks absolutely... What
Apart
are
from
her
anything
boobs
else,
doing
I don't
there?
know, it doesn't look comfortable, and underneath the T-shirt, they're going to just look weird.
The sexy red basque. It just looks... It looks hideous. The sexy black they look... If she's designed these are the... and I like... I love big bums. I do love big bums, and I do think that...
Women in underwear does look nice.
Women in underwear does look nice. In this case, they does not look nice.
And she's got every reason to look beautiful.
She's a stunning woman, but she looks flipping awful. And why in every picture it looks like she's holding her hair on?
Sexy. That's why. This is a woman who can play the piano beautifully.
She once told... Well, anyway, so that's that.
This is a woman who is talented in other ways.
But yet she's still flaunting those talents, and it really is... come on, here we go. I never thought I'd be saying this. Come on, girls, put your clothes on. Put your clothes on. Less is more. Less is more. It's the boob thing again, isn't it?
Boobs is not news.
Boobs is not news. Now, we know that. We've had that told us to someone from an MEP.
So boobs is not news.
There. But yet they're doing the thing is more pictures. Reese Witherspoon. Now, I don't know what Reese Witherspoon does, but I think she's beautiful.
She's an actress and a very good one.
She's doing the boob thing.
They're all doing it. Well, a lot of them are doing it. This is from the
I blame
BAFTAs.
Aniston for corrupting the minds of Witherspoon and Aura. I'm angry today. I'm really angry.
I think when you can see not only the cleavage but also the parting, you've got to.
It's this thing where they wear a jacket or a dress or a waistcoat where a waistcoat where the boobs are on display.
And
no
you can
nipples.
see under boob,
side boob, inner boob, every boob, but they're pulled apart. They are
pulled apart.
They're pulled apart, aren't they? Generally, so you can see straight down the middle. You can see that, can't you?
Yes.
I'm describing it accurately.
You are Jeff Banks.
Thank you.
Are.
I am Jeff
and
Banks.
They need to pack it in.
Yeah.
I mean, the female body is a beautiful thing, but we don't need to see all of it at once. Did you see Madonna's bottom? She flashed her bum.
Which time?
Well, this time. She flashed her bum last night. I don't know what a new song sounds like. Maybe that's why.
The only bit of Madonna's body I've not seen is Up Inside. That's the only
I'll tell you what,
bit.
the next thing is going to be X-rays.
Yeah. Sex rays, more like.
It is.
Should we have a song, or do you want to do something?
We'll have a song, and then I'll do something.
Okay.
I need you and your love to come on and rescue
Is Fontella Bass a woman or a pop group?
I think it's a pop group.
Okay.
Oh no, is that her name?
I don't. Well, this is like. Hang on a second.
Ask again.
Is Fontella Bass a woman or a pop group?
I thought it was a pop group, but now you've said that, I think it might be a woman.
Okay.
So it's one or the other, definitely.
Definitely
Sure.
one or the other.
Or both.
I always feel sorry for bands when it's. Oh, no, she's got ages to go.
What's the song called?
I don't know. I always feel sorry for bands. I always have from a very, very young age. Felt sorry for bands when it's such and such and the somethings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I can't think of any examples.
Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Yeah. Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. I felt sorry for the Pirates. Who's Johnny Kidd? For a while, it was John Lennon and the Silver Beatles.
Oh.
And I always feel I can't. Cliff Richard and the Shadows were. We'll talk about Cliff Richard later on. Good friends with Justin Dealey.
Yep.
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
There you go.
Freddie and the Dreamers.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for the Dreamers and the Pacemakers.
Mm-hmm.
Not for Jerry. Why would Jerry be in charge?
He started it in his garage, probably.
Well, did he? I mean, I don't know. They're a terrible band, actually.
That was always the rule, wasn't it?
So there's a school, right? The school where snow is banned.
Oh. Why is it banned?
Well, this is written in an outrageous way. I completely agree with the school.
Go on.
Primary banned pupils from going outside and closed blinds so they couldn't watch it fall. That sounds disgusting, and I can feel your ire rising. When snow began to fall gently around their primary school, pupils were naturally excited. But their joy quickly melted away when their teachers banned them from going near it or even looking at it through a window. The youngsters were kept inside after they were marshalled into the building at the start of the day. And a teacher even closed the blinds to stop a class of 8 and 9-year-olds from being distracted by watching it through the window.
Mm. Because they're there to learn.
And your point is, right, OK, so it's a primary school, so they're going to be between the ages of 6 and 10. If they go out when it's been snowing, they could get muddy. The school says that the playground was icy. OK, well, that's a sensible thing to do.
Also,
and if 8-year-olds are looking out the window at the snow falling, they're not learning. Close the blinds.
Also, playing in the snow is fun for about 10 minutes, isn't it? Before the freezing wetness of it all starts to really get
Then
through
they'll be
your
cold
clothes.
for the rest of the day. The school, where a vicar caused uproar before Christmas by telling pupils that Santa Claus doesn't exist, claimed it had acted because of health and safety concerns.
Yeah.
I'm completely on the school side. Mother of 6, Shelley Betts. Huh?
Hey? Shelley Betts.
By the way, if you've got... This is always open, and maybe I don't say this enough. If you've got a name that sounds like Kelly Betts, that sounds like Iain Lee, that sounds like Catherine Boyle, that sounds like Justin Dealey, 08459 455 555, you're a friend of the show. Mother of 6, Shelley Betts.
Nice.
43, whose daughter Betty Betts.
Betty
Betts. Age 8, is a pupil at the school, said, when they told me they shut the blinds, I couldn't believe it. They're only little. She's a very wise woman, Shelley Betts. Listen.
Are you doing a voice?
She would be.
They're only little, and they only stay children for a short time. For too long. They stay children for too long. Might have been at it for years. Oh, listen to this thick woman. They could have turned the snow into a science lesson instead of banning them from seeing it. By the time I came out of school, it was all gone. I don't want it to end up with my children only knowing about snow from Christmas cards. These women are thick. Julie Hollins, 30, who has an 8-year-old son at the academy, said, stopping them from seeing it fall is like a slap in the face for little children. No, a slap in the face is like a slap in the face for little children.
And even the Pope disagrees with that. No slapping of the face.
These are 8-year-olds. It's not like they're doing A-levels. I just thought it's a bit pathetic. Other local schools were doing snowman building competitions. Jeez. Well done, school. School done good thing.
I think I might have done a bad thing over the weekend.
Oh, go on.
I think I might have dobbed someone in when really I should have been on his side.
Stay tuned and find out more.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
6:45. It's Monday, the 9th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The National Union of Teachers says the failure to open a girls' academy in Luton proves the government's free school scheme is a farce. 4 men have been jailed as part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton, and singer Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night, taking 4 awards at the Grammys. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thankfully, it's a really quiet week of weather. We have some high pressure down to the south of Ireland at the moment, which makes things all very settled, but it does mean it's rather cloudy. We have got a lot of cloud around today, and it doesn't really shift very much for the next few days. So the temperature outside at the moment, protected by that cloud, so most of us above zero. There may be the odd rural location, which is snuck just below, but most of us frost-free this morning. A lot of cloud around, temperature steadily climbing today. May get 1 or 2 brighter spells, maybe a glimmer of sunshine, but the maximum probably around 8 or 9 Celsius by the end of the afternoon. Now, we're hanging on to the cloud overnight tonight. 1 or 2 clear spells. If we get 1 or 2 of those, we're likely to see the temperature drop a little further. Could also see a bit of mist and fog form in those, but predominantly most of us staying above zero again. Again, there may be the odd place which has just a sparkle or 2 in a sheltered spot, rural location, where we may just see temperatures drop down to around -1. So it's a similar start for Tuesday, really. Dry, cloudy, mist and fog clearing, light winds, maybe a bright spell, but temperatures similar, 8 or 9 Celsius. The only real change we look forward to, if I can say that, comes later on Thursday afternoon, where it does turn a little breezier, then turning wet and windy by Friday. That's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
Let me get on with your consumer problems.
Should I expect it to last as a £350 TV or a £250 TV?
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Have you gone back to the retailer? I went and spoke to the company that you'd paid the money to.
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
So I emailed again and reminded them of the statutory rights, which I've heard in your programme.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
They've backed down and they have put in writing to me that I no longer owe the money.
And we could do the same for you.
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Your team is fantastic because you look after the people.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can we have, Kelly, you'll know the name of this song, the Dixie Chicks. Is it I'm Not Ready to Back Down? I'm not ready to make nice.
Make nice.
Is it called Make Nice?
I think so.
Or I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to, brackets, make nice.
Just put the Dixie Chicks in and see which one sounds a bit like that.
Dixie Chicks song
I'm
that
not ready to make nice.
Yeah.
Yes, is that there? Let's have that. Let's have a bit of that, shall we? Jay!
Hey, good morning, boss.
We've missed you. We've missed you.
Wagwan! Justin, don't reply, Wagwan. It doesn't make sense. You should know that now.
Yes, Irie.
Maximum respect.
Yes.
Big up yourself, Justin.
And to you.
Well, you've been on a little bit of a Caribbean holiday adventure.
I have. I've been searching for the reggae legend Carl Malcolm of Fatty Boom Boom fame.
And
Sadly,
when's he coming on the show?
No joy. I went to the wrong island. So are you going to send me off to Jamaica this week? I'm hoping you're going to say yes.
No, she went of her own accord.
Oh. Okay.
You did get to meet one. You got to meet the English Elvis.
I did. Yes. A certain Sir Cliff Richard.
Sir Clifford of Richard, and you went and spoke to him.
I did. I spoke to him briefly. We kind of spoke about lobster for a few seconds, and then we spoke about music. I've got to say, Cliff Richard, for a man who's about 75, he's got to be 75 now.
I thought he was 89.
He looks amazing. He was having his lobster with his friends.
Yeah.
By the way, if you are going to go incognito, it's probably best not to have your friends wearing T-shirts with the young one's lyrics on them. That's what he did. So he finished his lobster. He had somebody to hold his bag. He took his baseball cap off. He took his shirt off. And he ran down the beach. And you think, was he going for a run? Oh, no. He had his private boat there waiting for him, and off he went into the sunset.
Is there photographic evidence of this union?
Not of me personally, but yes, my girlfriend who I was with, she had a photograph with Cliff.
Hang on a minute,
It's not about me, boss. It's not about me.
Did you get him to record any jingles for us?
No, I didn't. I left him to it, to be fair. I thought, well, do you know what? We've got Peter Andre. Who needs Cliff Richard?
But you had a good time, did you just?
Yeah, fantastic time, thank you very much, yeah.
Okay, well, thank God you're back, because we had Matt Lockwood filling in for you. And it was awful.
He was sending me some videos, and he said, I'm really, really sorry, but the standards have dropped. I saw that video, and I said, oh no, the standards have gone up.
I've got an idea for something we can send you out on.
Yeah, go on.
Do we do this one?
Yeah, I don't see anyone's going to say, hold their hand up doing this.
There's the front page of The Sun. Should every woman...
It's the Daily Mail.
Daily Mail, sorry. Should every woman shave her face?
I wonder what he's going to say for a minute then.
Page 37 you go to.
Yep.
It sounds crazy, but beauty experts say it's the reason men age better, and it works for women too. Angela Garvin's a lot... What are you standing next to? A time machine or something?
There's a guy coming down here. Guys, the dog's back on the streets. Can we keep the noise down? Thank you, boss. The dog's back on the street. Cheers. Thank you. Okay, carry on.
Very funny. You're such a plum. Angela Garvin's alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. every day. As a legal advisor, she has to be up early and has a strict skin regime to get through. First, she cleanses her face. Then she dabs on some toner and reaches for a bottle of shaving gel. She applies it across her chin, top lip and a small area around her neck. Then, using a men's disposable razor, which proves she hasn't got a clue what she's doing because you never use one of those things, she carefully shaves her face, rinsing the fine, pale hairs down the basin as she goes.
So you want to know, should all women shave their face?
Yeah.
Got a guy here. Excuse me, sir. You're live on the air, so don't swear. What's your name? Stuart. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that all women should shave their face first thing in the morning? Just a simple yes or no.
You can't give a yes or no to that.
No, it's a yes or no. Come on.
It depends how hairy they are.
Well, it's just yes or no. Come on, what do you think?
Well, yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Stuart. So Stuart says yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Straight away, somebody's saying yes.
But Justin, could you get a few more voices? Just that doesn't. I know that you've still got that kind of Caribbean laid-back vibe. That doesn't count as a vox for me.
I mean, there's two ways you can look at this. If you, two ways you can look at this. I would say some ladies, unfortunately, do have a bit of hair on their face, so they need to shave their face, which is unfortunate. But if it's going to age you better, why not?
Justin, thank you very much. Good to have you back. Who did you stitch up then at the weekend?
A Dutch trucker.
What? Oh. Thanks.
He's been parked opposite my kid's school on the edge of the wreck.
Yeah.
For about, by Saturday, because he was still there on Saturday, 5 days.
That's not weird, is it?
It's facing the playground.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him for the first 4 days, and the curtains were closed. So apart from anything else, I thought, he's not died in there, has he?
Yeah.
So anyway, I ring the local council. She asked me whether he's on a yellow line. I said, no, he's not. He's on the grass. He's on the, I said, but there's a yellow line in front of him and he shouldn't be on the park. I said, and I'm a bit worried he might have, died in there.
Could be a dead lad.
She went, well, we can't help with that. I went, I'm not exactly asking you to resurrect him. Just move him along. Because it's a bit weird, he shouldn't be part of there, should he? Yeah, we'll send someone down. So I had this message back, nothing happened. So then I tweeted it. Oh, then the council do something.
Isn't it mad? Any company or organisation, if you tweet, they get a bit, oh yeah, no, we're doing something.
Yeah. So then I got a message back saying, yeah, we're going to send someone down. We've spoken, and then within 10 minutes we've spoken to him, broken English, but he appears to have broken down. He's not. He's cooking a fry up.
Is he cooking in there?
He was cooking on the back of his
What's he cooking on? Has he got a Dutch oven?
He must. Yeah, I think he's got a Dutch oven.
Flippin' eh.
And that explains the closed curtains. And then, and then they said they were going to send a recovery vehicle down there at 8 o'clock that night. He was still there the next day, and I was outraged because it became me versus him versus them. But then afterwards, I thought, I've just done something really tight, haven't I? He probably gets expenses to stay somewhere, and he's trying to save some money.
No, good. They should arrest him. He's parked at opposite a school for kiddies.
Well, schools are normally for kiddies, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They should arrest the fella. 08459.
Where's he doing his business? That's what I wondered.
Yeah, exactly. Those Dutch are weird.
I'm not sure I could. They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting. used to
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's been an accident at junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. That's causing queues from junction 11 for Dunstable Road already. Thank you to Webby calling up to report that the emergency services are there already on the scene. On the M11 southbound, there's been an accident between junction 9 for Saffron Walden and 8 for Bishop Stortford, so there's a lane closed that's starting to cause queues. And in Brookman's Park on the Great North Road, there's been an accident at Mims Drive, and that's not looking too bad on the speed sensors, but emergency services are there on the scene. On the A1 southbound, that's looking quite slow from the Holiday Inn down to the Stirling Corner, and in Amersham on the A413, that's very busy southbound between Mop End Lane and the A404. On the trains, no major problems to report at the moment, but on the Underground, the Metropolitan line is suspended between Baker Street and Aldgate because of a signalling problem at Euston Square. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
And vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. Demands that money for the failed Luton Girls Academy is paid back. 4 Luton men jailed in gun crime crackdown. And success for Sam Smith at the Grammys.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
As demands that the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton should pay the grant they received. The government has withdrawn its support for the school, which was due to open in September. Bodrul Amin from the National Union of Teachers in Luton says it proves the free school system is a farce.
This is just an example of how public money can be wasted on schools, being built, or in this case, not being built in places where there's demands for primary school places.
4 men have been jailed as a part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton. They were caught with a sawn-off shotgun after a police stakeout. Jane Killick reports.
The court heard that in June last year, 19-year-old Dylan Beckford and 25-year-old Dion Ellis bought an angle grinder to cut down the stolen shotgun. When armed police raided a bedsit in Russell Rise, they threw the gun and its barrel out of the window. 23-year-old Alex Myers and 44-year-old Victor Martin were also convicted and were all sentenced to between 6.5 and 7 years in prison.
The family of a 3-year-old girl who was knocked down in Luton have raised £3,000 for a survey of the road where she died. Maya Shahzad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road 6 months ago. The police say it was an accident, but Maya's mother Shazia disagrees.
There's no safe crossings in Bury Park. If you go from walk from the plaza to the top, there is no safe crossing. How would people that are going out, where are they supposed to cross from?
Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night at the Grammys. The singer, who grew up on the Hertfordshire border and went to school in Bishop Stortford, won 4 awards, including Best New Artist and Record of the Year. Our correspondent in Los Angeles, Peter Bowes, says it's unusual for someone so new to the music world to do so well.
An extraordinary achievement for Sam Smith. He's only 22 years. He's only really been on the music scene, at least as far as most people are aware, especially here in the United States, for a couple of years. And to win Record of the Year in his first big year at the Grammys, the same year that he wins Best New Artist, is a very rare achievement.
Meanwhile, at the BAFTAs, Boyhood was named Best Film. Eddie Redmayne was named Best Actor for his portrayal of St Albans-born physicist Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. But The Imitation Game about the Bletchley Park codebreaker Alan Turing failed to win any of its 9 nominations. In sport, there were wins for Watford and Wycombe over the weekend, a draw for Luton but defeat for Stevenage, and fresh from holding the League One leaders Bristol City to a goalless draw, MK Dons visit Bradford this evening. The weather will be generally cloudy today with mist and fog patches slow to clear. Top temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius, that's 43 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Lee. On the show this morning, free schools, not free treatment, and free little words. The J-Dog's back. 08459 455. You know the rest.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can Kanye West...
Yes.
Took a very hard test. And he failed in the month of May. No, I finished that at your leisure. I want to celebrate today, and this isn't a particularly Monday morning breakfasty thing to do. We're supposed to be up. But I want to celebrate the magic of the Bleak film.
Yes.
Let's celebrate the magic of the Bleak film. I watched Tyrannosaur yesterday because I worked out I can get Amazon Prime on my computer. Mm-hmm. So I was just in bed. Get this, right? I was in bed... Right, in a hotel. I had Domino's delivered. I had to go downstairs and collect it. I'm in bed, in a hotel, eating Domino's, watching movies.
I always wondered whether you could do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Wow.
What, get pizza delivered?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go downstairs and collect it outside.
So what, they have to ring you, or the reception?
No, the fella rang me, said, I'm in car outside. I went, I'll be down soon. Went down, got dressed, went down. Collected the pizza, didn't even have socks on, went back upstairs, kicked off my clothes, in the bed, wallop.
Living the dream.
Have some of that. But the film I watched...
Did you have dip? Did you dip your crusts?
I had one dip, yeah, and I'd always get potato wedges.
Mm.
Yeah. But the film I watched, Tyrannosaur, written and directed by Paddy Considine. Considine, right? It's got some old fella in it. It's got some other fella in it, and it's got that woman in it.
Olivia Colman.
That's it. Before she was the nation's favourite, right? I knew it was going to be dark. I didn't know it was going to be bleak. Mm-hmm. It was bleak. There was no light in that movie at all, but it was brilliant.
Paddy Considine tends to be in those films, doesn't he? Have you seen Dead Man's Shoes?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I'm going to track that down next.
Harry Brown as well. Have you seen that?
No.
With your Michael Caine in it.
Is he in that?
Yeah, and he's as an old fella who lives in this a tower block, which is being run by a load of scumbags.
Oh, it's the British Gran Torino.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
and
the
he's had enough, and he goes and he takes... I mean, wow. He's got nothing to lose.
Can we celebrate... Oh, I'm going to have some of that today. Can we celebrate the magic of the Bleak movie, please?
Yeah.
08459 455 555. I mean, they don't get much bleaker than Kes. I've not seen Kes for a long time.
I've never seen Kes.
I think I saw it at school. That's pretty bleak. There's a great film starring... two of the most... and I need to get this again, actually, starring James Taylor and Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys drummer, called Two Lane Blacktop, and it's about two drug addicts driving across America. And this is the level of the acting.
It was a stretch for them, wasn't it?
This is the level of the acting. Yeah. You want to get a burger? Yeah, let's get a burger. And that's it. They just mumble. It's bleak. I love a bleak movie. The Road. Have you seen The Road?
No.
Post-apocalyptic nightmare.
Right. If only you liked period stuff.
No, mate.
Jude the Obscure. I mean, that... Thomas Hardy, just... people were hostages to their fortune. They had no way of winning. You know, there was no way out for those people.
I like modern bleak. I go back as far as 70s bleak.
No, turn of the century bleak is bleaker.
Actually, I watched Billy Liar the other day. That's bleak. That is bleak, isn't it?
Bleak.
Really bleak. Really bleak. Oh, here we go. This is going to be miserable.
Miserable Monday.
Miserable Monday. 08459 455 555. Let's celebrate the magic. Sometimes there's nothing better than watching a film set on a moor, is there? Really? Just on a Sunday afternoon when you're feeling a bit sorry for yourself. Bleak is the word.
Wuthering Heights.
Again, not the periods.
I love it.
No.
Love it.
08459 455 555. Remind me to talk about Bletchley Park as well later on.
OK.
I went to Bletchley Park.
I'm always there.
I know you are. I know she's one of the attractions. Now, at the end of Friday's show, we finally found out how much you, me and everybody else who pays tax has paid the people behind the Luton school that never was. The Luton Girls Academy was given £180,000, and we've been after them to talk about the project, and they're not interested. What does it say on their website about the problem, Catherine?
It depends which browser you're using. I looked on their website upstairs, and it was a white page with breaking news at the top. Just breaking news.
And that was it, no story.
And now there's breaking news at the bottom. The last breaking news was in October, so they've still not told parents or anybody else who goes to their website what's going on.
It's only us that know, and you. So there you go. We can speak now to Mark Lehane, who's head teacher of Bedford Free School. Morning, Mark.
Good morning.
What's your reaction to this? Because we've already had, some people on the show saying that this proves that free schools don't work.
Oh, I don't know that it necessarily proves anything, to be honest. I mean, what we've got to remember is that whenever you try something different or new, not everything's always going to succeed. In fact, in most walks of life, you're never going to have a 100% success rate at everything. And, I mean, you don't know and I don't know the details as to why they've had this project postponed or pulled. But what I do know is, having been on the inside of the whole process all the way back to 2010 when it started, it's increasingly got a lot more rigorous along the way, and you could also see this as a sign that, you know, they're trying to hold really high standards to make everything does work once the schools actually open and have got students in them.
Your school was, it was touch and go, to say the least, wasn't it? Right up to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we did was we'd hoped to open in 2011 originally, but when we got to the January of that year, we realised, you know what, there's too much uncertainty for parents, let alone us. So we pushed back the opening to 2012, and you're absolutely right. You know, it was even that was to the wire then, so it was absolutely the right thing to do, because it meant that when we did get opened, we were just about ready, and hence here we are 2.5 years later. We're oversubscribed in nearly every year group. We've only got places left in year 7, and it feels like everything's going really well. So I think that postponement was a really good move.
The difference with you and this other school was, Mark, all the way along the line, you were approachable, you were trying to keep people abreast of what was going on. Even when there wasn't an awful lot going on, it's been very, very quiet in the run-up to this school. I mean, it took us, what was it, a couple of weeks ago we found out where the school would be. It's taken a long time. It seemed very, very quiet indeed.
I suppose there's two things I'd say to that. One is that every project needs to do their own thing, and I know that the stuff that we experienced, which at times was a bit rough and tumble, may have influenced how other schools since then have approached things in terms of communicating with people. Because it's if you're opening a school and you're not a professional politician or a journalist, the press can be quite scary. But I guess the other thing is they've probably been working really hard behind the scenes trying to put things right or make this really hard decision. And I suppose what I would say is there's no doubt that if you go and spend money on a project and then that school doesn't open, it absolutely looks like it is a waste of money in terms of that project there. However, you've got to look at the bigger picture. Free schools, generally speaking, open schools, something like 60% more cheaply than schools before 2010. So although this particular project might not have worked out, across the country you've got hundreds of other schools opening far more quickly and far more cheaply than before.
I guess the thing about this school is, Mark, is that 180 grand has been given to them in grants from the Department for Education, and there is literally nothing to show for it. So there will be some people, I'm not saying this is necessarily fair, but there will be some people thinking, oh, right, yeah, well, it's all a little bit of a con. And I'm not suggesting that is necessarily the case, but as they won't talk, people make up their own minds. What kind of scrutiny were you under, Mark, when checks were coming in from the government? What did you have to do to prove that you were using that money effectively?
You have to account for it almost line by line. So you will have regular meetings with the Department for Education. When we were involved, we almost had to bid for the money up front and explain what we'd spend the money on, and then when we'd spent it, we had to show them what we'd spent it on. They will have been, under the current process, they would have been having regular meetings with the Department for Education and their funding people about what they're up to, what they were spending the money on. And I would imagine that once the financial year is over, they'll publish their accounts and they'll be available for all to see. So
it's not a case of you go up and say, yeah, we're going to need 200 grand. They write you a cheque and that's it. You go off and buy a flash car.
No. In fact, I sold my little Micra 9 months ago, so I'm down to a bike now anyway.
You're tough times.
Actually, I'm saving it in a Swiss bank account. No, I shouldn't joke about that. But no, I think it's just an example of it. Genuinely, it's a really rigorous process. And before a school can even open, they have to jump through, as is right, loads of hurdles. You have a pre-opening Ofsted inspection, you have a readiness to open meeting, there are people crawling all over your plans and your policies, and I don't think anybody would want it to be anything different. And eventually it will come out as to why this particular project hasn't proceeded. But like I say, you need to look at the bigger picture. There are hundreds of brand new schools out there now, the majority of which are doing really well, and not everyone is going to be like that.
Mark, we had a fella on from the NUT. And we've had other critics saying, well, free schools, they don't work. The council should be allowed to open their own schools up, and we need to stop this free school stuff. I've got no idea. I genuinely don't know whether they're good or bad. Tell me why you think free schools are so good.
Well, I suppose for me the biggest difference about free schools nowadays is that they are schools that open only because there's a significant number of parents that want them. And they are about parental choice, and they're about diversity within the system. No one-size-fits-all system works for children. And I always say to people, there's no such thing as a good or a bad school. It's is that school going to work for your child? And free schools are just another way of adding diversity to the picture. And if you were to go around to the majority of free schools that are now open, the longest ones have been open 3 and a bit years. We in Bedford have been open 2 and a bit years. I think you'll find the majority of kids in there doing really well academically and really happy, and the majority of their parents happy as well. And that's what they're about.
Mark, good to talk to you. Thank you very much. Mark Lane, head teacher of Bedford Free School. It's one of those things I don't know enough about to... normally I know what my mind is. I don't know what my mind is on this.
It's reassuring to know that it isn't just a case of here's the money, off you go and spend it as you want. As he said there, you have to account for every single bit.
And fair play, whatever the school is, if you've got a head teacher who's as passionate about it as Mark, then you're probably on good ground, aren't you?
If the people behind Luton Girls Academy are listening, they're more than welcome to phone in. We'd really like to hear from them. 08459 455 555.
Scott has tweeted, Dead Man's Shoes is the best, Boyle's brilliant. He also says Scum is bleak and Kneel by Mouth is bleak. I don't think I've seen Kneel by Mouth. Scum is bleak. Who's the daddy? Who's in that? Ray Winston, isn't it?
Oh.
But I don't know. I don't think I've seen Kneel by Mouth. What else is bleak? I bet you probably like musicals and songs about films about Hannah Montana and stuff, don't you, Kelly?
No.
What, One Direction in 3D? 1D in 3D?
No.
The Matrix trilogy?
I've never seen any Matrix.
They're rubbish.
Oh, I went to see The Matrix with my friend, not my friend anymore, who sat next to me all the way through it going, so is this real now, this bit? What's he doing there?
I like the lady because she's in the catsuit, but the rest of it is... I think I saw The Matrix 2 on a junket, then I had to go and interview the twins that were in it. Boy, that was dull.
I liked the first one. It was an interesting idea. I like the fact that they'd had a go.
They'd had a go. Bleak films, please. 81333. Start your text 3CR.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's been an accident. It's at junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead, not at junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. It's causing queues, though, from junction 11 for Dunstable Road. Although all the lanes have been reopened, it's on the hard shoulder. It's still looking very slow past that stretch. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 18 for Chorleywood. And the M11 southbound has a lane closed because of an accident between junction 9 for Saffron Walden and 8 for Bishop Stortford. That's causing queues now from junction 10 for Duxford. In Brooklands Park on Great North Road, there's been an accident at Mims Drive, and in Amersham it's looking very slow on the A413 around Mop End Lane and the A404. On the trains, no major problems showing up on the departure boards, but on the Underground, Metropolitan line is suspended between Baker Street and Aldgate because of a signalling problem at Euston Square. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha, thank you. The show is writing itself today. Bleak films, and coming up, when has technology bitten you in the bum? I've just seen what you've retweeted, Catherine. We'll have some of that. It's brilliant. At 3CR Kate, follow her. She's just retweeted that I think the Terminator prophecy is coming true. 7:16. It's Monday, the 9th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The National Union of Teachers says the failure to open a girls' academy in Luton proves the government's free school scheme is a farce. 4 men have been jailed as part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton, and Sam Smith won 4 awards overnight at the Grammys in Los Angeles. The weather today?
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Coming up, he's back.
Giza.
Three Counties Sport.
We've got 2 nights of live football to bring you this week. Tonight, MK Dons make the trip up north to face Bradford.
It's 3-0 and Devontae Cole has his second for the afternoon.
It's another key game for MK Dons as they try and get that automatic promotion spot. Then on Tuesday, the rest of our teams are all in league action.
Matija breaks his goal-scoring drought. It's straight on your Dinmer to put in the rebound. Completely unmarked.
Live commentary on your local team.
Three Counties Sports Special tonight and tomorrow night from 7 o'clock here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So far, we've got bleak films, should women shave, and has technology ever bitten you on the bum? Catherine, your tweet is wonderful.
Or
bless you for that.
hair.
Or eating your hair. It's the greatest picture I think I've ever seen. Describe the scene in South Korea.
South Korean woman. She's having a sleep on the floor. That's fair enough.
I think that's what they do. Do they know the bed has been invented yet?
I think that they prefer a futon.
Here's the thing: when you stay in a Japanese, like if you say, the more expensive the Japanese hotel, the less chance of you getting a bed.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's nuts.
They're comfy though, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
tatami.
I prefer beds.
Yeah, I know, but that's us. Anyway, this woman's had a sleep, not realising that she's got a robot vacuum cleaner on the go.
And I love gadgets. I love technology. I've eyed up these robot vacuums.
I quite fancied one myself
until I saw this.
Well, it's tried to vacuum her head and it's eaten her hair. So we've got two coppers, one of them wearing some sort of disease mask.
No, there's three there. Look, there's a third one peering in, opening a case. It's like a SWAT team.
Is he a scenes of crime officer? Is he going to draw a chalk mark around her? They're trying to get her free from this vacuum cleaner, and everyone knows what it's like trying to get hair out of a vacuum cleaner. Flipping.
There's only one way that's going to go. Get the scissors out, guys. The woman whose name is being withheld to protect her dignity
she's going to be the one with a bald spot.
Was taking a nap on the floor at home when the vacuum cleaner locked onto her hair and sucked it up, apparently mistaking it for dust. The agony of having her hair entangled in the bowels of the contraption roused the woman from her slumber.
Well, it would do, wouldn't it?
This is brilliant. Unable to free herself, she called the fire department with a desperate rescue plea and was separated from the robot's clutches. This is really written in a dystopian, futuristic way. According to the South Korean newspaper, the Pyongyang Shinmun, she escaped serious injury. Oh, who's written this? This is
someone's having a giraffe.
This is a wonderfully written piece. Well done. She escaped serious injury, although it is not known whether she has retained the autonomous cleaners services. Oh, retained the autonomous cleaners services. That's the name of my next album.
But you know, her fault really. The machine's just doing what it's programmed to do. Just doing its job.
That is fan-flipping-tastic. The tides are turning. I'm sure this is how Terminator started.
Yeah, the machines rebel, don't they?
It is. The machines rebel, and they start off... It's like when you start off playing a game of chess. You move the pawns out just to test the water. You get the little guys.
The sleeping woman.
You get the robot hoovers. You just send the robot hoovers out just to test the waters, and then you get the rooks, the bishops, and indeed you might even get the knights coming out on their robot horses. Deal's terrifying, huh?
Terrifying stuff. And boss, before you joined Three Counties Radio, we had a very exciting day on the station. It was NHS Day.
Oh.
So I went to a hospital.
Why don't we do that more often?
I think we should. It was a great idea, very unique, a complete one-off. I went to a variety of hospitals and I spoke about embarrassing injuries. Vacuum cleaners were up there.
That's the problem.
Let's just say that, how can I put this? I think it was Stoke Mandeville where I spoke to somebody. A man came in and he had accidentally trapped himself in a vacuum cleaner. So it was
what do you mean
Henry on Henry, if you gather my words, yeah?
Hasn't Gail got one of these? Gail, who works here, got one of these robot vacuum cleaners. She bought it in once back in the day when we didn't have anything else to talk about.
I think Gareth has got a robot lawnmower.
Say a robot lover there. He probably has.
Yeah.
He loves his gadgets, doesn't he?
He does.
He loves his gadgets. Justin, Scott has tweeted in. By the way, Scott, Scott is a regular contributor to the show. I reckon we get him on the payroll. I want him sat in the studio writing lines for me. If you hear me say something funny, I've probably got it from Scott. Sorry?
Or me. Yeah, fair enough. Thanks.
You met. For those who don't know, you've been to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And you met Sir Clifford of Richards.
I did, yes. We shared a lobster together.
Hang on, this story's getting more and more elaborate.
Well, Scott has tweeted, did Dealey ask Cliff about the shadows and working with the shadows?
No, I didn't. I saw his shadow going down the beach.
Oh,
and again, to kind of stress this, Cliff Richard sells more calendars than anybody else in the UK.
Yep.
That is fact, not fiction. I saw his shadow going down the beach. He got onto his boat, and man, he looks good for his age.
Yeah. One of those. He's one of those people. Cliff Richard is one of those people that isn't real. It's like Robert De Niro isn't a real person.
No, he's real.
No,
he's real.
I don't want to see them in real life.
Well, you never think you're going to. It's like the one and only time I saw the Queen. It's like these people are They are hyper-real. They are, as Catherine would say, extraordinary.
He's real. And
Stringy, we saw him, didn't we?
Stringy's not quite up there. We saw real Stringy.
I would take Stringy on the beach in a thong any day over Sir Cliff.
We were in a restaurant in London, right, me and Kath, having a fancy day out. And Kath was sat looking out the window, and she looked over my shoulder, and her eyes were as wide as round saucers. And she went, "Look! It's." First of all, she said, "Oh, it's a fake Stringy." "Oh no, it's actual Stringy!" She couldn't believe it. And do you know what? Actual Stringy came into the restaurant with his beautiful 19-year-old wife, their young baby. Yeah. He got turned away from the restaurant that we had a table in.
What?
He got turned away. Me and Boyley were there, lording it up as actual Stringy got booted out.
You see, that says to me everything that is wrong about this country.
Sorry?
A legend such as Peter Stringfellow walks into any restaurant. I'm sorry, but kick the people out like you. Kick them out. Get Stringy in there.
Listen, me and Catherine Boyle, we are legends in our own lunchtime.
Well, he's quite literally a legend in his own underpants.
Actual Stringy.
Kelly, could you clip that live, please?
The thing is, as well, we were surrounded by quite cool people, weren't we? Picking away at salad leaves.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to see actual Stringy once I called it. Everyone.
Oh, Justin, it's good to have you back, mate.
Good to be back on the streets and not the beach.
We'll talk later on about women having a shave, but this idea, it pops up every 3 months. I think it's more regular than that. People who deliberately make unhealthy choices should pay for some of their NHS treatment. That's according to a Buckinghamshire-born Conservative MP. Boy, aren't we struggling to find local connections, who told a Sunday newspaper. We'll speak to Dr. Philip Lee, no relation, later on to find out. But, Justin, you've taken this to the streets, haven't you?
I'm going to shock you right now.
Yes,
I'm
boss.
going to shock you. I couldn't find one obese person walking the streets this morning.
OK.
Yes.
OK, well, OK.
So we haven't spoken to them.
I'm sorry, I nearly told Justin about the game we were playing the other day, Catherine, and I thought better of it.
No one can know about that game.
No one can know about that game.
Tell me later.
I will do, boss, yes.
So I've been talking to smokers, and I've been asking them at the...
I'm so sorry.
It's all right, it's all right. I've been talking to smokers. Obviously, if they need an operation, it's going to be self-inflicted because of their habit. I've been asking them, how would they feel if they had to pay for that? Would it be justified? Here's what the smokers had to say this morning. Stuart, you're a smoker. How many do you smoke per day?
I don't know, maybe about 20.
Maybe.
I don't count them.
Could even be more then.
Well, I don't count them. It's not like a cigarette packet. It's roll-ups, so I don't count them. I couldn't really tell you.
Okay, how would you feel if you were told there's something wrong with you and you need treatment, but it's self-inflicted because you're a smoker and you've got to pay for it? How would that make you feel?
Well, I've already paid for it. I pay my taxes and I pay my national insurance. So you could say the same about fat people and all the rest of it, and all these people that get medical things done because whatever plastic surgery, and it's just the same, isn't it? You know, it's not illegal. Same as alcohol.
We can't pay for everything, can we? If the NHS is losing money, people like you, it's self-inflicted.
If you want to start getting into rants about paying for everything, there's a lot more important things need to be dealt with before that. If they make it illegal, then fair enough. At the moment, it's not illegal. They're making billions of pounds a year in tax off cigarettes, and they're making billions of pounds a year off our tax and our national insurance. So until they ban it, that's it. I would say it's appropriate that people get treated. You know, there's people that get treated there, they sit there, they don't work, they eat all day, they drink all day, and the cost is a fortune and benefits and a fortune. So why should somebody that work suffer?
OK. Just lastly, so are you saying that
it's an addiction? Okay. You know, it's...
You just said there about overweight people. So are you saying overweight people don't deserve to be treated?
No, I'm saying
that's self-inflicted.
I'm saying if you're starting to say that smokers should be treated differently, well, that's the same for everybody that's self-inflicted.
So overweight people do deserve treatment as well?
And the same as somebody that's maybe out in a motorbike speeding. If they crash, that's self-inflicted. You know, so if you go down that route, it's going to be nobody getting treated.
No, it wouldn't be justified. No, I pay my national insurance. I pay for the NHS. You know, I pay towards the NHS, so I don't think it's justified at all.
What if they said to you, you must give up smoking? If you don't, you won't have the operation. Would you then quit?
No.
Seriously, you wouldn't?
No.
So you just die then?
Yeah, I just die.
Disgusted. I mean,
really?
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free, and if you need the operation badly enough, then it should be done for free. You shouldn't need £6,000 for an operation that can easily be done for free operation.
Clip that.
Get that! Pull that fella off!
What are you laughing laughing at?
I meant from the audio, not as a reward. The people in this country deserve to get stuff for free.
Yes.
That is the problem with this country, is that people... Seriously, Catherine, don't pull him off, but get the audio, because that... No!
Yes.
No, that is the problem with this country, the sense of... No, but that's what he's saying. People in this country deserve to get stuff for free.
But it's not technically free.
No, you don't.
It's not technically free, though, because, OK, to make a comparison for you, if we're talking about smoking here, which we are, and this idea that it's self-inflicted... OK, in the Caribbean, where I've been recently, OK, cigarettes over there cost about, what, £4 a pack. Here, they cost about £10 a pack.
Right,
so clearly, a lot of people in this country are putting a lot of money into the system if they decide to smoke. So why should those people, if something goes wrong with them, why should those people have to pay for it? They shouldn't, surely.
I don't know why you're getting angry with me. I think I probably agree with you on this one.
I'm not getting angry.
You're getting angry.
No,
Calm down, fella. Calm down. Okay. Do you know what? I think I probably agree. It does break my heart when you drive past... No, not break my heart. It does make me laugh when you drive past hospitals and you see people in wheelchairs on drips puffing away on a fag, and you kind of think, or pregnant mums puffing away on a fag. You think, no, the thing I'm laughing at is that fella saying...
He's quite literally a legend in his own underpants.
No, sorry, no, not saying that. That fella saying this.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
I tell you what, that would be a great country to live in.
oh, God.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
There you go. You want to know if Britain is indeed broken, which I'm not sure it is, but if you were to ever think it was broken, it's because of this man.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
He's literally a legend in his own underpants.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's been an accident at junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead. All the lanes are open now, but it's still causing queues from junction 11 for Dunstable Road. On the M11 southbound, there's a lane closed between junction 9 for Saffron Walden and 8 for Bishop Stortford. That's causing delays from junction 10 for Duxford because of a multi-vehicle accident. And looking at the A1M southbound, that's very slow from junction 8 for Hitchin to 7 for Stevenage. The M40 towards London is also looking very heavy between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and the M25. And in Brooklands Park, Great North Road is closed because of an accident at Mims Drive. On the trains, there are no reports of any major delays, but on the Underground, the Metropolitan line is suspended between Baker Street and Aldgate because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. There's demands that the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton should pay back the grant they received. The government has withdrawn its support for the school, which was due to open in September. 4 men have been jailed as part of a crackdown on gun crime in Luton. The gang tried to throw a sawn-off shotgun out of their flat window during a raid by armed police. The family of a 3-year-old girl who was knocked down in Luton have raised £3,000 for a survey of the road where she died. Maya Shahzad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road 6 months ago. And Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night, taking 4 awards at the Grammys. The weather will be cloudy with mist and fog patches slow to clear throughout today. Top temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius. That's 43 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There were wins for Watford and Wickham over the weekend, a draw for Luton but defeat for Stevenage, and fresh from holding the League One leaders Bristol City to a goalless draw, MK Dons visit Bradford this evening. The Dons will check on the fitness of striker Dean Bowditch, who came off injured on Saturday. And the rapid turnaround means a night on the road for Dons boss Carl Robinson and his squad.
We're going to a restaurant now, all the players and the staff, and then we're going off to a hotel, and we're camping in a hotel. Not camping. I'll say it'll be cold. We're putting our tents up. No. I would have thought of Delhi Monday when I got to the hotel, but no, we're going to set up base at a hotel because our training ground's been frozen. We've not been training on grass all week either.
And non-league Boreham Wood go to Farnborough in Conference South tonight. Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton says there's no reason why he can't see out his Formula One career with Mercedes. The twice world champion has told the BBC he can't see himself going anywhere else.
Absolutely, there's no reason why that couldn't be the case. But of course you can never say never. You never know what's going to happen in the future. But I've been with Mercedes since I was 13, so at the moment I can't see myself anywhere else. And the great thing is you're part of a family with Mercedes-Benz, and it really is one of the most iconic brands in the world, so I'm really proud to be a part of it.
And finally, England's cricketers have won their World Cup warm-up match against the West Indies in Australia. England won by 5 runs, having bowled out the West Indies for 122. BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 8 o'clock.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
And we can go now live to the Houses of Parliament, where the new Prime Minister of Britain is addressing the people there.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
It's people. Let's talk to each other.
Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Now listen, there is an election coming up and we have to tread very, very carefully, and here at the BBC, of course, we have to be impartial, but I'm suggesting you all go out and vote for this guy as Prime Minister.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
Yep, that's it, guys. I'm not allowed to influence your voting in any way, but vote for that guy. It's blown my mind. That's how stupid some people are. What do we just remind us what we're talking about? We've thrown loads of things out. No one's bitten yet.
Robo Rebellion.
When has technology bitten you on the bum? Why are we talking about this?
Because there's a woman in South Korea.
She's remained nameless to save her the shame.
Who her head was virtually eaten by a robot vacuum cleaner.
Okay, so we can do. When has technology ever fought back? And when have you ever been eaten by a Hoover?
Careful.
Exactly. That's always my advice with the Hoovers. Be very, very careful.
08459 455.
No, because you do that thing when you're showing off to the kids, and you put you Hoover Daddy's jacket or something or Daddy's hair, and
There's a bloke on online who I've seen doing his daughter's hair with a Hoover. Have you seen
No.
that? It's brilliant.
Well, you've got to be careful because it's very difficult to pull Henry off.
And, you know, with the cyclonic power, you don't want to harness... I mean, that's harnessed, but barely. I mean, it's a wild beast. It's an untamed... one of them horses that's untamed, one of their Mustang things.
Wild pony.
And you don't want to mess around with that.
08459 455 555. We're also doing bleak films. I watched Tyrannosaur yesterday. Oh, my God, it's bleak. It's brilliant, but it's and there's sometimes you need a bit of Kes. You know, you need not a lot happening, a bit of mumbling, and you know, beautiful scenery and derelict buildings.
Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Not seen that. No, I'm not seeing that. That's bleak, isn't it? A lot of those late 50s, early 60s films are bleak because it was a bleak place.
I was watching one with Albert Finney and Audrey Hepburn, Two for the Road. Have you seen that?
No.
It's her not being quite so, terribly.
Yeah.
And they are just, they're a couple who've fallen out with each other in a car. I mean, what could be more blissfully miserable than that?
It is a bleak film, and it's beautiful. Brief Encounter. That is bleak. That is bleak, isn't it? Oh, man!
I think the end is supposed to be happy, but it's not, is it?
I don't think it can be happy.
It says, I'm
no.
so glad you came back to me.
No,
no.
It's the bleakness in her. That's her life. Oh, I've got shivers thinking about it. Peter in Walmer Green, I bet you like a good movie, don't you? A bleak movie?
Not particularly, no.
Do you like an action movie?
I like action movies.
Do you like science fiction movies?
Pardon?
Do you like science fiction movies?
Not particularly, but not the recent ones anyway.
Do you like comedy movies?
Yes, indeed.
Do you like adult movies?
No.
OK, what would you like to have a whinge about today, boss?
I was listening to you about the people who smoke and the treatment. People who drive cars in towns and cities cause more cost to the National Health Service from people with breathing problems than anyone who smokes.
And
they're addicted, and the ones who smoke are addicted.
Where are you? Where's your evidence from, Peter?
Well, various sources.
Could you name one of those sources?
Well, newspapers.
Could you name the newspaper?
Newspapers, news items on the TV.
Okay, could you name the newspaper?
No, not quite individually. It's quite a while ago.
Sounds like, Peter, I don't know, you've made that up.
Oh, now, you can't tell me there's no pollution in town centres, and you can't tell me there's not thousands of people with breathing problems.
I'm not saying that at all. But
what are you actually saying?
Oh.
Peter,
You've got him there, Peter.
What I'm saying is, I do enjoy these calls from you, Peter, and I know you take it in the spirit it's intended, but today you're talking rubbish.
Oh, okay.
I am disputing. It may be true, but you've said that there are more people with breathing difficulties because of cars.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously.
Well, no, you're saying obviously, but I don't know that's obvious.
Well, if you look at the statistics on pollution in towns and cities, it's much higher than in the countryside. Simple.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I know
Simple
that, but it
maths.
doesn't mean that. But no, it's not simple maths. You've made up your own times table.
No.
It doesn't mean that there are more people with breathing problems because of cars than there are because of fags.
Well, we know it's pollutants.
We know. I know. I'm agreeing with you that there is pollutant. There are pollutants.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm not agreeing with you with is the fact that you are saying there are more people with breathing difficulties because of cars.
Oh, absolutely.
Then there are because of smoking. Where did you get that fact from?
Well, because it detailed there was 9-to-1 chance of a car causing the problem.
Now he's got statistics to back up this nonsense. Where are these stats from?
Well, I only identify them from scientific sources, really.
What scientific sources?
That have been issued in newspapers. I say, have you got a hearing aid?
Pardon?
Have you got a hearing aid?
Huh?
Well, you don't seem to hear what I've just said.
Say that again.
No, I'm not going. You put your hearing aid in.
Thank you, Peter. I do enjoy a good party with Peter, primarily because he's rubbish at arguing, but he does. Peter is one of those. The thing is, we'll get complaints now saying I was rude to Peter, but Peter gets it totally. I do love a good
He got
party.
it there. And he gave a bit back.
Oh, thank you, Peter. That's exactly what I needed. You made me laugh. We're also talking about should women shave. Have you, as a woman, ever shaved your face?
No. Next question.
I used to.
Some women shave their arms. That feels to me like,
yeah.
you know, you're going to end up with arms like Desperate Dan, aren't you? It's got to grow back.
I was admiring my buff body in a mirror the other day. I've been in a hotel all...
Gosh, you never mentioned that.
Yeah,
I've gone a bit stir crazy. I've gone like...
Do you wake up and kiss your biceps?
Yeah, sometimes.
Justin.
I kiss whatever I can reach.
You've got Justinitis.
I was like that man in that film where he's staring at a mirror and he goes mad.
American Psycho.
You're talking to me.
No.
You're talking to me. Taxi driver.
No, the war film.
Machinist.
No, the
True
war.
Romance.
No, the war film. He's staring at.
Sugar Man.
He cut. No,
Talking to the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
No,
Ian. It turns out.
The war film. The man. It's not Kirk Douglas.
Platoon.
No.
Apocalypse Now.
That's the fella.
Okay.
Doing a bit
I've
of
not
that.
seen it, so I wouldn't know.
Anyway,
Is it the mirror that does it, or is it Vietnam?
I think he goes mad because of the mirror.
Oh.
I didn't really get much past that. It was a bit boring. Good music though.
Platoon. There's a grim film.
Is Platoon Me Love You Long Time? What's
that bit?
That's where the famous quote. Is that the famous quote?
I thought that was just my mates. I didn't realise that was a famous quote.
I'm hoping that Kels is laughing and she's not crying because my words verbally assaulted her.
I believe that is the cry. You know, sometimes if you go to Benidorm and they're shouting "Lucky, lucky," that's the version of that from that part of the world.
She's laughing. Kelly's laughing. That's good.
I've never heard that before. What Ian said, I've never heard it.
There is a famous quote from a film. There's that one I gave you, and it's also the famous quote. If you're is "Me Love You Long Time," and does that come from Platoon? That comes from Full Metal Jacket.
Another grim film.
Yeah, grim.
Who'd have thought war not being fun?
08459 455 555. Anyway, grim films.
Yeah. Robots Attack.
Me Love You Long Time. No. Should women shave?
Their face.
Yes. Think we got there in the end.
Don't press that button.
Can I press it now?
No.
Oh, flip. Where is she?
She's doing Kent.
Well, look, this is not good enough.
Is this going to be a daily thing?
No, somebody's off, so she's covering them.
Oh, right, OK. So we suffer for someone else skiving off. For them
who presents...
She'll be here in 10 seconds.
Who presents Breakfast Radio Kent? BBC Breakfast Radio Kent.
Don't know.
We're going to find them and we're going to...
Who is presenting The Anyways Kent?
Let's have a look. BBC News Kent.
Is it James Whale?
He's Essex, I think. Is he? The Anyways Wales.
He's BBC Wales. OK, well, that's that. And by the way, BBC...
The Whaleway.
What a bunch
John Warnett and Maggie Doyle bring you news, travel and weather, plus Kent stories.
Don't, because now people are going there.
Hey, she's dialing in now. Let's pretend that we're Kent and she's got it wrong.
So this is BBC Radio Kent.
I love Kent.
And well, what's happening in Kent this week? Let's go to Maggie. Maggie, what's happening in Kent this week?
Loads of stuff.
Yeah, I believe there's a pig staring contest. When's that happening? And what's happening there at the pig staring contest?
Tomorrow 9 a.m. Get down nice and early. Bring your pigs.
And just have a good old stare.
Yeah.
Okay. Sammy Bruff's here. Good morning, Sammy.
Good morning.
BBC Kent here.
Hello.
Pig staring contest.
Oh, I love to do that.
Yeah, would you? How long? What's the longest you've ever stared at a pig for? Give us a call now. 08459 455 555. Actually, do give us. What is the longest you've ever stared at any animal for? I'm totally up for that.
I quite like taking cats on.
Yeah, cats don't. The worst thing you can do to a cat, Sammy. And by the way, are you doing any other radio stations? Have we got a rush here? The worst thing you can do to a cat is stare at them when they're doing a poo. They hate it. Have you done that?
Yes.
They hate it. They look so ashamed.
I don't think that's just cats.
My sister's cat is my nemesis, and I love engaging him in a good stare off.
Oh,
he hates
cat
it.
doing a poo. They look so. Ever seen a cat?
Something wrong with that.
Sorry?
That's not really right, though, is it?
What do you mean?
You don't look at someone when they're doing a poo.
If they're doing it on your bed, you do.
If he's looking at me, I'm going to look at him.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Kath. That was out of order.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, it's very slow at junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead because of an accident there. It's been moved to the Harvard shoulder. The queues are from junction 11 for Dunstable Road after an accident. On the M11 southbound, there are queues after an accident between junction 9 for Saffron Walden and 8 for Bishop Stortford, and there are queues from junction 10 for Duxford. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very busy between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. In Brookmans Park on the Great North Road, that's reopened again after an accident at Mims Drive, and the A1 northbound has queues building up from the M25
M25 junction, 23 for Selfnams to the Borehamwood Holiday Inn junction. Possibly a problem has been reported on the roundabout, so we'll keep you up to date with that. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 7:47. When have you caught animals in embarrassing situations? 08459 455 555. 7:47. It's Monday the 9th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The National Union of Teachers says the failure to open a girls' academy at Luton proves the government's free school scheme is a farce. 4 men have been jailed after being caught with a sawn-off shotgun in Luton, and a man in Luton thinks this.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
Oh my gee. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Arts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a reasonably mild start. I say reasonably. Compared to this time last week, it's reasonably mild. Most places above zero. There's a lot of cloud around today. 1 or 2 mist and fog patches. They'll lift, but into low cloud. It's going to be grey. It's nice and quiet. The wind is light, and the temperature's likely to get up to around 8, maybe 9 Celsius later on this afternoon. It's going to stay dry as well, as it will do or should do for the next few days. Overnight, we're hanging on to the cloud. 1 or 2 breaks could lead to a bit of mist and fog, but the minimum temperature in the most part above zero. Countryside could dip just down to around zero, so we could get a sparkle or 2 of frost tomorrow morning, but most places above zero and very similar to today. A rather grey start tomorrow and a grey end. There's more cloud tomorrow, less likely to see too much sun, and the temperature again up to 8, maybe 9 Celsius. It's a similar day for Wednesday. It does start to change though as we head through to Thursday, particularly Thursday afternoon. The wind picks up and it turns wet and windy for the end of the week, and that's your forecast.
Thank you, Kate.
Anne Main is the Conservative MP for St Albans and has been for the last 10 years. But what does being a local MP actually mean, and what does she do?
Three Rivers Council, which covers this particular area of my constituency, is looking particularly spineless as far as I'm concerned.
On Wednesday, you can find out as she's coming in to sit in my hot seat.
It is not absolutely fine at all. They've sent test correspondence. The correspondence has been sent a month and still not acknowledged by the partners.
Get in touch with any questions you want answering and I'll put them to her. Email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
Who's doing that typing?
81333, starting your message with 3CR.
Hang on a second. Go. This is an important thing. Listen to the lunatic that's... Anne
May.
So this is good, right? I look forward to this. The lunatic who's sending an email.
Has been for
you would not want to read an email sent by a person who types like this. Have a listen.
What does she mean, and what does she do?
Three Rivers Council, which covers this particular area of my constituency, is looking particularly spineless as far as I'm concerned.
On Wednesday, you can find out as she's coming in to sit in...
So that's good. We're listening to that.
It is not absolutely fine.
He has actually literally a hot seat. He puts a hot water bottle on it and a blanket.
A month and still not acknowledged by the partners.
Here we go.
Get in touch with any questions.
Listen to this lunatic typing.
And I'll put them to her. Email jvsshow.
Do you like colours?
Or text on 81333,
What is your favourite water?
starting your message with 3CR.
Have you ever touched a cow?
In the JVS hot seat, Wednesday morning from 9 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do you know my mum?
That's the kind of questions that they'll be... Someone who types like that will be asking, what is air? Have you ever seen sky?
That's the type of I do when I'm pretending to work.
Is your name Anne Main?
That's the kind of questions you're going to get from someone who types like that. You want to put on the nut job filter, I think.
Have you got a shoe? What is better, left or right? My eyes are sore.
Well, I've broken my computer. It's all gone sideways. Look at that. Look at that. It's actually gone sideways.
Oh, I can help you with that.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh, dearie me.
Do you know me? My teeth are bleeding.
That's the kind of question you're going to get from someone who types like that.
That's not even a question.
Yeah, well, the person's got a lot of body issues. How have I done that to my computer? The screen's gone sideways. Look, Kath. I've broken my computer. That's why these people are so frustrated. Their screens are like that. I've got no idea. Do you want to whack that audio back in for us, please, Kels Bells? It does serve me right. It really does serve me right.
You should have more respect.
Well, no, I've got what for the I've got respect for Anne Main coming in.
No, for BBC computers.
I've got no respect for the lunatics
that type like that.
What do type like that? 08459 455 555. Moving on to but slightly more serious issues. The family story that we've been covering on here quite a lot, actually, over the past few months. The family of a 3-year-old girl who was run over and killed in Bury Park in Luton say they've raised over £3,000 for an independent survey to be carried out on the road where she died. It's 6 months since Maya Shazad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road. Police say it was a tragic accident, but her parents have criticised the investigation and say they're still waiting for answers. Well, Catherine Boyle joins me now. Catherine, remind us what happened to Maya.
Well, we know that Maya was out walking with her family in Bury Park on the 8th of August last year. They'd been shopping for a wedding and they were about to get something to eat. Now, the family say they all crossed the road together, but what happened next is disputed. All we know is that Maya was hit by a bus and she was killed. The police say that after a thorough investigation, they've concluded it was a tragic accident and nobody was to blame. And they also don't believe the road layout played a part. But the family disagrees and say that the layout of Dunstable Road needs radical changing. Here's Maya's mum, Shazia.
The layout of Bury Park is so dangerous. You know, some of the shops I actually saw, obviously, that up near that place where Maya passed away, they said even when this was all done, we weren't happy with it because we knew it was dangerous for the community. It needs to be safer. If you look at the size of the bus and the size of the road, it just all adds up. Why is the footpath so big and the roads are so small? There's no safe crossings in Bury Park. If you go from walk from where the plaza to the top, there is no safe crossing. How would people that are going out, where are they supposed to cross from?
Now, the family raised over £3,000 in a fundraiser that we covered in December. They say an independent report into the layout is now being carried out and it should be completed next month.
And any reaction from Luton Borough Council to this latest development?
Only in a statement, I'm afraid, but Luton Borough Council says its thoughts remain with the family and they welcome all feedback from the community. But they say there's been a significant reduction in accidents on Dunstable Road since the current road layout was introduced in 2006.
So the road layout is one issue that the family have, but they've got other issues as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they've strongly criticised Bedfordshire Police's handling of the case. The family says the decision not to prosecute the bus driver was never explained to them and they're still waiting to hear back about a meeting they requested with the police in December. Now, they also complained about what they call heavy-handed treatment that they received on the day of the accident. They say they don't know what's happened with their complaints. Some members of the family also joined last month's protest outside Bedfordshire Police Station, which was about wider concerns in the community about policing. Here's Maya's mum, Shazia, again.
We went on a family day out. It should have been safe for us. I shouldn't have brought a body home. I should have lost a piece of my family. No one should have. Everybody's sitting in their own houses. No one knows how we're living. I know the way I'm living. I know how my child's living. My 6.5-year-old, she cries all the time for her sister, but I don't have no answers. People must be thinking why, but all I want is an answer. What happened to my Maya? Our community have stopped believing in the police, Bedfordshire Police. They've stopped doing that. Especially, there must have been a lot of other cases, but especially with the way they've dealt with my daughter, I'm disgusted. I don't want no more officers, writing letters to me. I don't need letters. I need answers.
What have the police said?
Another statement. Bedfordshire Police say that their sympathies go out to Maya's family and say they've offered to meet with the family to discuss the findings of their investigation and would welcome a meeting with them. Now, they say they'll be responding to the letter to arrange one in the near future. They go on to say that there is an inquest due to be held into Maya's death and it would be inappropriate to comment further on the investigation ahead of that process. However, we can say that no offences were identified against anyone involved in the collision. The inquest is due to take place next month and you can see more on this story on Look East, BBC One tonight from 6:30.
It will be interesting to see what the inquest says, and I realise that by saying it will be interesting, that might sound like I'm demeaning the death. I mean, there is... we don't know what happened there, but there is always the chance that it was... tragic accidents happen. That's why they are tragic accidents. And I don't know the ins and outs of this story, but I guess any parent who loses a child in whatever circumstances looks for answers, don't they? It's the why me, why them, and they look for answers.
Some people set up charities, don't they?
Yeah.
So, but it's feeling like you can channel your feelings into something that will have an end result, because otherwise it's just having to deal with them. It's awful.
Oh dear, it's very, very sad, isn't it? 08459 455 555. Did you have a pen? I bet you had a pen pal, didn't you?
I had loads of pen pals.
Yeah, you're the
I've got
kind
a box
of
somewhere with. I had some rather strange letters from Tanzania.
Oh really? What?
One of my pen pals was in a girls' school. Let's just say there was some goings on there that I only really understand now I'm grown up.
What goings on? Like mucky things? But if they're all girls, where was this coming from? Oh, you're joking.
Anyway,
Really?
so yeah, but I had some very interesting pen pals too. I had some in Italy who I still talk to occasionally. My Italian pen friend, even though neither of us really speaks each other's language.
I had a pen pal. He was New Zealand, ginger lad in New Zealand. He liked boats, I remember, and he was just the most boring. I mean, he was like related to the headmistress, and it was really boring. I never liked it.
My Spanish pen pal is my daughter's godmother.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, she's cool. We get a lot of nice holidays.
I bumped into my pen pal in Aldi queue 40 years on, says a woman in the newspaper. Grandmother was reunited with her French pen pal 40 years after they lost touch when they bumped into her in a supermarket and discovered they lived less than a mile apart.
Ooh, dans la France or en Angleterre?
En Angleterre. Sue Ellis recommended Yvette Pearson when she overheard her Parisian accent while waiting at the checkout of her local Aldi. Incredibly, the women who had written to each other for 4 years when they were teenagers in the 60s discovered they both moved to the same town.
Oh.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Yvette, who works as a French teacher, said Sue just said my name and I couldn't place her, but I knew that I knew her. The pen pals, and thank God we've got the internet, because it means that the pen pal phenomenon where you would write letters, you would be...
I found it exciting, and you get all these like different stamps and...
boring.
I had envelopes.
Oh, it was boring. I didn't want to know people in this country, let alone abroad.
I liked it. And airmail. I used to be able to get these airmail letters that you wrote on a page of A4, and then it would fold up to become its own envelope.
Yeah, I know, the paper was so thin.
Really
How much
thin.
did it cost? Why was normal paper so expensive to send?
Because it's heavy on the aeroplane, isn't it?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M11 southbound, there are queues from junction 10 for Duxford to junction 8 for Bishop Stortford because of an accident there earlier. Also on the M11, there's a lane blocked at junction 8 for Bishop Stortford on the roundabout on the Stansted side because a lorry's broken down. On the M1 southbound, it's very slow after the accident at junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead. There are queues from junction 11 for Dunstable Road, and the M40 towards London's very busy between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and the M25. On the M25, it's looking very slow from Kings Langley around to junction 16 for the M40, and in Little Paxton, the A1 Great North Road's very busy from the Little Paxton turn off towards the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, there are reports of any major delays at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio. Vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: demands that money for the failed Luton Girls Academy is paid back, Labour plans to increase paternity leave, and success for Sam Smith at the Grammys.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The National Union of Teachers says the failure to open a girls' academy in Luton proves free schools are a farce, as demands that the founders of the school pay back the public money it received. Now the government's pulled the plug. But Mark Lehane, who runs Bedford Free School, is defending the scheme.
There's no doubt that if you go and spend money on a project and then that school doesn't open, it absolutely looks like it is a waste of money in terms of that project there. However, you've got to look at the bigger picture. Free schools, generally speaking, open schools, something like 60% more cheaply.
Labour says it would double paternity leave to 4 weeks if they win the general election. They would also offer at least £260 a week in paternity pay. The Shadow Cabinet Office Minister John Ashworth says families want more flexibility.
This is really exciting news for dads. I'm a dad myself, got a 3-year-old and a 14-month-old. I know how important it is that the dad has those 2 weeks off, or which will be 4 weeks off, with the new baby. I think it's important for dads and family life. And I just think that we want a more flexible approach to life, and I think a lot of dads will welcome this.
The family of a 3-year-old girl who was knocked down in Luton have raised £3,000 for a survey of the road where she died. Maya Shahzad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road 6 months ago. The police say it was an accident, but Maya's mother, Shazia, disagreed.
The layout of Bury Park is so dangerous. You know, some of the shops are actually a place where Maya passed away. They said even when this was all done, we weren't happy with it because we knew it was dangerous for the community. It needs to be safer. If you look at the size of the bus and the size of the road, it just all adds up.
Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night at the Grammys. The singer who went to school in Bishop Stortford won 4 awards, including Best New Artist and Record of the Year. Meanwhile, at the BAFTAs, Boyhood was named Best Film. Eddie Redmayne was named Best Actor for his portrayal of St Albans physicist Stephen Hawking, and he thanked the Hawking family.
I would like to thank them for their trust in us, for their generosity and their kindness, and for reminding me of the great strength that comes from the will to live a full and a passionate life. So to the Hawkings and the Hellier-Joneses, thank you.
And farmers in Bedfordshire say they've created a new red onion that's not as smelly and less likely to make you cry. The first sweet red onions produced by Bedfordshire growers in Biggleswade are being stocked by Asda. They say it's taken 20 years to cultivate. In sport, England's cricketers have won their World Cup warm-up match against the West Indies in Australia, and the weather will be generally cloudy today with mist and fog patches. Top temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius. That's 43 degrees Fahrenheit. You get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
Oh, that's my favourite. That's my favourite clip. That's a real person saying that. And that, dear listener, is why we're skint. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots for you to get your teeth into in the last hour of the show. Catherine, what can they have their say on, please?
When robots attack, robots or machines.
There's a woman who's had her hair hoovered up by a robot vacuum cleaner. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. When has machinery ever fought back with you?
What if you had trapped in a machine, I guess, is the subtitle for that.
Could be. 08459 455 555.
Oh, marvellous, mawkish movies.
Bleak films, please. I watched Tyrannosaur yesterday. Wonderful. If you're contemplating suicide, don't watch that before. Seriously, it is so... Catherine, honestly, you've got to watch it. It's a masterpiece, but it's flipping miserable.
I don't know whether I can bear it.
Oh, I would say do it in like 8-minute chunks. I did the whole film all the way through. It was hard work. So bleak films, please. 08459 455 555. And we've not had anybody call in, a woman calling in admitting they shave their faces. There are other things that women can do to get rid of excessive facial hair, aren't there?
Yeah, and I don't think that this is what this woman's saying that she has, because they go on about her downy, white, hardly visible hair.
Oh.
It's just, apparently, it's a way of making your skin look amazing, but I don't fancy it.
I wouldn't fancy that.
There's enough maintenance goes on when you're a woman. You don't need to start making...
08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have we got any texts?
Oh, I haven't even looked.
I know we've not even looked at the texts yet, so have we got any?
Let me check.
Let's have a little look-see and see what we've got before we head over to Scoinsville, Arizona.
Hang on.
Catherine logging into the computer. This is
exciting.
This is Sony Gold.
Oh, here we go. Bleak film. Stephen King The Mist. The ending is a beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Kanye West took a very hard test in the month of May. He sat scratching his head, then got distracted instead as Kim's massive rear got in the way.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the Kanye West limericks. Thank you.
Bring on Justin, Ian, take Justin job, and Justin do Ian job. That's from Shirley or Jim or whatever her name is.
All right, boss, nice. What name are they using today?
None.
Okay.
But we know it's Shirley.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. I think the quote that you mentioned earlier on, I love you long time, comes from The Deer Hunter, says Russ.
Oh, it could be.
I haven't seen that.
It could be. OK, well, it wasn't really worth going to the Texas, was it?
Well...
No.
Benny Buckingham wants to talk about smoking. Do you want that one?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah?
Go on.
If there was no smoking in the UK, how would the government recoup the money lost from tobacco duty? And if smoking was banned, the NHS would still be in trouble. There you go.
It wasn't worth going to them. Catherine, excellent stuff. Thank you. 08459 455 555. Now, At the end of Friday's show, it emerged just how much public money had been given to a school in Luton that never was and looks as if it never will be. £180,000. That's the amount given to the company behind the application for the Luton Girls Academy, a company who couldn't or wouldn't tell us where they planned to put this school until a few weeks ago, and they still haven't told the parents that it won't be happening at all. All it says on the website is breaking news. And that's it. Well, Paul Scoynes is our political reporter. Paul, this £180,000 is way over what you estimated, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had a vague idea that it was going to be around £20,000, just based on previous experience of how much it costs to set up a free school, and that's what happened with Barnfield. They were getting around £20,000, I was told, to just make the preliminary investigations. But £180,000, a vast overestimate, and to be honest, I doubt that we're going to see very much of that back as taxpayers.
So that money's gone for good then, is it? Do we have any idea yet what that money's been spent on?
No. The DfE haven't told us what it was for. The school is still yet to return our calls. So, no, we don't know in detail. We do know that the DfE asks for a certain number of tests to be carried out, so they want to make sure that the land, obviously, is kind of going to be used right, that it's going to be something that you could put a school on. So I imagine some of that money would have gone at least into the prospect of securing that land, or at least putting something on that land in order for it to be a school. I mean, you'll remember that when I went and had a look at it, it was nothing more than a sort of vast expanse of concrete wasteland, and not something that you could have put schools or children into in 8 months' time, which of course is what they were proposing to do, and that's, I think, why the DfE decided at the last minute to pull the funding.
Significant number of parents had signed up for this school. Do we know if they've been told officially yet?
We don't. And we knew that as of last week, when we first broke the story on the Monday, that the school wasn't going to go ahead, that we had parents calling the station saying that they'd heard nothing, that they were finding out for the very first time last Monday morning. Obviously, Friday was a bit more information from the DfE about exactly how much money was going to be spent. The DfE do say that they're going to try and recoup any unspent money, but of course we have no way of knowing at the moment what has been spent and what hasn't. We just know that the amount of money that had gone into the school already was that figure of 180,000. As you say, there's nothing on the website. We don't know whether or not parents have been sent a letter. We have been trying to speak to Ace Trust Limited, which is based in Harpenden, and that was the company behind Luton Girls Academy. One of the directors of that, also a director of a company called Claritas Wealth Limited. We've put calls into them as well. So far, everything has been sort of not ignored, basically.
Paul, thank you very much. Excellent stuff, and excellent performance at Bletchley at the weekend.
Thanks.
You're very welcome indeed. I'll explain all of it later on. In the studio to discuss this is the woman who's trying to take Gavin Shuker's Luton parliamentary seat for the Conservatives at the next election, Katie Redman. Morning, Katie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming in. £200,000 of public money, kind of wasted. It's not brilliant, is it?
I don't think we know yet whether the money has been spent. So, as I understand it, the money was allocated to Ace Trust, and that money will have been put in a charitable account. It will have been kept in the trust. It won't have gone to these individuals. So, first of all, we need to establish, has that money been spent, or has it just been allocated, and is it just sat in a bank account somewhere? So, we can't really put any figures out there until we know, what's there, what can be recovered, and we will obviously look to recover that money.
You've been doing some investigation since we asked you to come on the programme. Have you found out any more about why the government turned down this application? Do we know anything about it?
Yes, I have. So there's been some rumours of whether it was because the school was a faith school. That's not the case at all. The only reason is that it didn't meet the strict criteria, and the school wasn't going to be ready to open in September. So the school had the go-ahead last year. They then had a year to show that they had plans so that they could staff the school, they had a curriculum, that they had a site. And at this stage, it wasn't looking that it was going to be ready for September. So rather than put more money into it, it was decided to pull the plug at this stage. Right. But what's interesting is that I didn't see much cooperation from the local authority. Now, free schools are a very difficult thing to set up. Yeah. So you've got two teachers here who've got this idea. They want to provide choice for parents. They want to set up a school that there is demand for. They've got two teachers and a whiteboard here. They've got a bit of government money. They're trying to set up a school on their own. The local authority needs to be engaged in that process and help them to to have planning permission for a site, to do all of the necessary due diligence on traffic surveys, all of this kind of thing. And there wasn't much cooperation from the local authority. If I was MP, I would be working with ACE Trust, with those teachers, to actually make sure that public money was spent well and that the school went ahead.
See, it's been argued, and we know for a fact from our approaches that the people who were trying to set up the school were actually being quite obstructive, and they certainly didn't want to talk to us and seemed reluctant to engage with the local authority themselves. They were very secretive.
I understand they've been reluctant to engage at this stage. I don't know how it's been throughout the rest of the year, but if that was the case, if they were not engaged, if it was from their side that they weren't engaging with the local authority, surely someone could have phoned up DFE and said, there's a school here, they've got a lot of money, it doesn't look like they're engaging, we don't think the school's going to go ahead, and then maybe something could have been stopped sooner.
The free school programme is very much part of the Conservative policy, your party's policy. It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Not at all. No, free schools have been a big success story, and the vast majority of free schools have been rated good or outstanding by Ofsted.
But doesn't this kind of show that nearly £200,000 can just be lost? The system itself is flawed if that much money can be given out without anything happening.
I wouldn't say it's been lost. We don't know what's been spent and what hasn't been spent. If the money has been spent, if there has been a study on getting this new school set up, then I would like to see, is there a possibility that we could maybe delay the opening of the school and get something open next year? I don't think it's something that we should be writing off, because there's demand for parents from it, and there's obviously been some work done. So I would say that there is something that we can gain from this.
So there is a chance that this school might get the go-ahead at a later date?
I would like to see that happen, yes.
Even though the Department for Education have said that basically they're not interested?
They've said that there isn't, the plans haven't made sufficient progress to open this September. So
they haven't got a site, have they? They've got a site, but there's nothing there. It's just
a site's been identified. There isn't planning permission for it. No, I mean, Luton Borough Council is a notoriously difficult authority to work with for planning permission.
Yeah.
I understand even the BBC Three Counties radio office looked to relocate and found it difficult to go within Luton.
Yeah.
So anyone would struggle, and it's difficult to set up a school, particularly, free schools have a lot more stringent process.
I would have thought, I don't know, I've never set up a school, I don't intend to, but that would be one of the first things before you start signing parents up. It's all very well and good blaming the authority, but before you start signing parents up for a school, you would think that you would be able to say, and we've got a site, and we're going to build, we're going to put something there.
I mean, parents basically put their preferences. So what happens is when parents have a child that's due to go to school in September, they put down a list of 3 preferences of the schools they would like to go to. So it wasn't that parents were signed up and ready to go to this school, it was that they had nominated Luton Girls Academy as their first preference, and I understand that affected about 58 students.
What happens to those students then? They just move down to their second list?
So they will go down to the second preference, yeah, and there is sufficient capacity in Luton to take those students.
We heard from a member of the National Union of Teachers earlier on who thinks that this policy for free schools doesn't work, and that local authorities should be given back the power to build their own schools where they're needed. What would you say to that?
Local authorities do absolutely have the power to build schools where they're needed, and with free schools it's about giving parents choice. So if there is a local community group or a faith group that wants to set up a school that is something that's not offered by the local authority, and they have sufficient plans in place to actually build a successful school, then the Department of Education will give them the funding and the support they need to do that. It doesn't affect the local authority schools process.
So I've been misled, because I was led to believe that local authorities, they haven't got the power to say, do you know what, we're going to build a school now.
They absolutely have that power.
They can definitely do that. All right. Katie, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in. No doubt we'll speak more over the next few months. It's very nice to see you. That's the Conservative Perspective Conservative MP for Luton South, Katie Redmond. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M11 southbound, there are long delays from junction 10 for Duxford to junction 8 for Bishop Stortford because of an accident earlier. All the lanes are open, but there are still very slow queues through that stretch. Also on the M11, there's a lane closed at junction 8 for Bishop Stortford on the roundabout on the Stansted side because a lorry's broken down. On the M1 southbound, it's very slow between junction 11 for Dunstable Road to junction 8 for Helmer Hempstead because of an accident. That's now also on the hard shoulder, but it's still very slow. And the M25 anti-clockwise has queues between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. 20. In Luton, Dunstable Road is very slow between the M11 at the M1 Junction 11 Dunstable Road and Waller Avenue, probably because of the problems on the M11 southbound because of the accident. And the A41 Friarage Road in Aylesbury is very busy around the Oxford Road roundabout and the Walton Street roundabout. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. We'll get a little bit of clarification in a minute from Catherine about whether local authorities can or can't build schools. A little bit of disagreement there. 8:17. It's Monday, the 9th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. There are calls for the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton to pay back the grant they were given. Farmers in Bedfordshire say they've created a new red onion that's not as... This is the second headline?
What have they created? Come on.
A new red onion that doesn't make you cry.
And it's less smelly.
And the third, get this, the third headline is that singer Sam Smith is rubbish. Oh, man, we can't, we really, no.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It says here, farmers in Bedfordshire say they've created a new red onion that's less likely to make you cry, and singer Sam Smith is rubbish. Slow news day, anybody?
I think that's a very good idea about the onion, though.
What?
Well, I was chopping onions on Saturday for
your special sauce.
Luxury. No, I had a countryside candlelit soiree with Ploughman's Entertainment, and I was chopping onions.
Ploughman's Entertainment, is that the Wurzels?
And
no. What does that mean?
It's Entertainment de Campo.
Is he speaking English, or is he speaking such a high frequency of posh that I can't understand
I think he's speaking half English, half Italiano.
What on earth are you banging on about, you loon?
Well, when you live in the countryside,
I know what you're saying.
You know, don't you?
De Campo.
Do you know De Campo was there? The guitar thief?
It means in the countryside.
But a countryside entertainment.
What does that mean?
I can't tell you.
Dogging? You went dogging?
No, of course not.
Well, what do you mean then?
Ploughing.
Well, if you ever come to one of my countryside candlelit soirees...
You don't tell me where you live. I don't even know what county you live in.
No. Well, if you ever do come, I might put on some Ploughman's Entertainment for you.
Does that mean you'll dance around wearing chaps?
You'll find out.
Oh! Dances around wearing cheese.
What's that? It's about cheese?
Do you dance around wearing cheese?
And a pickle?
Do you get yourself in the right pickle? Do you have half an apple shoved somewhere?
Going back to the beginning of this story, I did when I was chopping the onions. I was streaming.
Yeah.
Absolutely streaming. I had to open the back door.
Oh.
Now, is that the Ploughman's Entertainment? Put a wooden spoon in your mouth and bite hard on it.
I've heard that that's the way forward.
That's what you've got to do. Also,
really?
Red onions don't make you cry anyway.
Well, these ones, I had to open the back door. A little bit of air in.
It's one way of dealing with it, I suppose. That works, does it?
Well, it did work.
These old wives' tips, housewives' tips.
Don't you?
If you're crying when you cut your onions, just open your back door and get a bit of breeze up there.
But don't you open the back door?
Not very often these days. It just gets harder and harder to close it with age. Let me have a look what you're doing. Can we get away with moving into this?
No.
No, we can't at all. Hang on. Oh no, I've got nothing there. Hang on a minute. Don't worry. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Joined now by award-winning broadcaster Jonathan Verner-Smith, who's going to tell us what's happening on his show this morning from 9. Jonathan.
Coming up on the big phone in this morning from 9, do you think giving men 4 weeks paternity leave is a good use of government money? Labour has announced that if they win the general election in May, they'll double the amount of paid paternity leave available to new dads from 2 to 4 weeks. Ed Miliband has also pledged that statutory paternity pay would be raised by £120 to £260 a week. Currently, only 55% of new fathers take the full 2 weeks off, as financial pressures often force them back into work. And whilst this policy would cost the taxpayer £150 million, Labour say this money could be raised by reducing the tax credits government has to give out to help people afford childcare. Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction to this. As a dad of young children, do you think this is a good idea?
Could not wait to get back to work.
Really?
Could not wait to get back to work. Yep. I had 2 weeks off, and it's different because I'm self-employed, so I don't work, I don't get paid. But I had 2 weeks off for the first one, a week off for the second. Could not wait to get back to work.
Why?
Driving me nuts. Honestly,
After a week?
No, honestly. It's particularly with the first one, it's such a shock to the system, and you are so exhausted. And the first one wasn't breastfeeding, so we would alternate who fed him in the night. And just to get... Your whole world gets completely skewed, and your rhythm and your routine just goes. And I kind of function with routine. I need routine. So the routine of going to work... I was doing a night show. The routine of going out in the late afternoon, early evening, and doing the show and coming... I needed that, otherwise I would have gone nuts.
So to have an entire month off?
Oh,
you wouldn't have...
No, mate,
no.
Do you know what else? I think as well, as a woman, you want to find out what normal is. So actually, the sooner everyone stops faffing about and everyone gets back to normal, the sooner you can get into your own routine and work out how to do stuff by yourself.
This is different. You know, there will be other people where it's different, and I realise I work a stupid job, but I could not wait to get back to work and get I still love the boys. Of course, I love the boys. It was the most amazing thing. But just that routine of going to work and some normality, it was a relief.
The first 3 weeks are so unreal anyway, aren't they? You're just coping. It's like a video game. As soon as it cries, you're trying to work out how to shut it up quickly. I mean, that's basically what you spend your first 3 weeks doing. And then you kind of want to work out your own routine and your way of doing stuff without people hanging about who aren't normally there.
That shocked you, isn't it?
So this policy's not gone down very well with your team?
Nope. In fact, as a direct result of this policy, I'm having no more children.
From 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction. Do you think giving men 4 weeks paternity leave is a good use of government money? I'd love your call from 9 on 08459 455 555.
Every weekday from 12, local people.
Wendy Howson and David Shipley are trustees of the Harpenden charity Spotlight on Africa.
So privileged to see lives change, conditions change.
Local stories.
A death cafe will be popping up in Bedford later this month, opening its doors for you to share sensitive stories and talk of afterlife.
There are people with a similar concerns, and you can have a light-hearted side of it as well, and we often end like that, you know.
Local life.
We're going to be heading off into the unassuming countryside of Bedfordshire.
We all know the brick pits and the industrial spoil that's marked the Marston Vale.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, Kath, girls, do you fancy... I'm a bit peckish. Do you fancy going to, I don't know, Nando's or something after the show?
Doesn't open till about 11:30.
Oh, the Death Cafe's open.
I'm busy.
What time?
It will be open at 9 o'clock. We could go down there, have a coffee, have a sandwich and talk about death.
Is it death or is it deaf?
It's death.
Oh. So what happens?
You go there.
About
death.
And if you talk about something else, are you asked to leave?
Get out!
I haven't finished.
Can I just rectify a wrong?
Please do, mate.
Local authorities no longer have the power to build schools.
This is what... I wish I knew stuff better than I do. I'll be... Katie will be back. It's the first time she's ever done one of those, and she was very nervous, I could tell. You know... do you know what? I probably went a little bit easy on her. Easier than I should, and I probably shouldn't say that here on the BBC. A little bit, because it was her very first interview, and I thought... This story isn't really worthy. It was a good story. It's not worth me going in for the kill. But that point did annoy me because I was sure of it, but I didn't push it. Yes, local authorities can't build schools, can they?
No. Not anymore. Their powers have been significantly curtailed in the last few years.
Well, I did say to Katie when she left, that was the only free pass you're getting. Next time you come in, it's all guns are blazing from me.
It's hammer time.
Yeah, it's hammer time. 08459 455 555. Now, a Buckinghamshire-born Conservative MP, who's also a practising GP, has said that people who deliberately make unhealthy choices should pay for some of their NHS treatment. Dr Philip Lee says that the majority of patients for whom medication is prescribed are suffering from conditions which are prominently to do with their own lifestyle. Well, he joins me now. Good morning, Dr Philip Lee.
Good morning, Ian.
How would this idea work?
Well, the purpose of the article in the Sunday Express yesterday, the central thrust, was actually that we should depoliticise our handling of the NHS. And in that article, I said that we had this increasing demand. I mean, it's been going up inexorably for many, many years. I mean, we've doubled the NHS budget, more than doubled it in the last 10 years. And we know that the main drivers of this are chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and the like. And so I was suggesting that if we know this, and if we know that we have this demand and it still continues to go up and we have an ageing society, etc., would it not be fairer for us to start considering that we, in part, not totally, but in part, start to reflect your contributions based upon the choices you make.
So I guess what we're talking about heavy drinkers, smokers, and fat people, are we?
Well, actually, with regards to smokers, they actually already contribute quite significantly, and sadly, because they smoke, they die prematurely. So therefore, they're not necessarily
they're saving us money.
They're not necessarily the burden, but the broader point is actually to do with the fact that we have this challenge of trying to maintain a 21st century healthcare system under a weight of increasing demand. And I just think that it would be better if political parties got out of this debate and discussed it honestly and candidly so that we could secure that 21st century healthcare system that we all would like.
Are you a smoker, Philip?
No.
Because smokers, it's interesting that you excluded smokers from that list.
I'm not excluding them. I'm just saying that because of the nature of that, it's a broader point about the fact that we all make decisions about our lifestyles. Some people eat more, some people smoke more, some people drink more. I'm quite sort of content to accept that people will choose those lifestyles, but if they do, they then also need to have some reflection of the cost implications of such
how would it work? For example, if there's a fat lad who's got type 2 diabetes because of his weight, he would be encouraged to pay half of the treatment? Is it that kind of system
well, no,
you're talking about?
Well, actually, I didn't advocate any particular policy or any particular payment system, and I'm not personally in favour of charging to see the doctor because I wouldn't want to discourage people seeking healthcare.
Yeah.
One possibility, though, for instance, could be on the drugs bill. Actually, if you look at the actual true cost of the tablets, not the prescription cost, the true cost of the tablets, most of the tablets prescribed by GPs are about £1 a month. Drugs like metformin, omeprazole, ramipril, these tablets, which I'm sure your listeners are taking, are about £1 a month. So we're not talking a significant sum of money to the individual. However, if you actually add it all up, we're north of £10 billion a year on drugs and prescribing costs. And so over a period of, say, 10 years, I think it would be acceptable to move that on to the individual, because then you see the individual can make a choice, an informed choice about how they lead their lives.
It's finally, Philip, it's been suggested that this is another move towards the privatisation of the NHS that some people think the Conservatives are in favour of. What would you say to that?
Absolute nonsense. In fact, I'm totally against it. In fact, I would take the market out of acute healthcare if it was up to me. I've called for the depoliticisation, for a royal commission on the structuring of hospitals and the like, and I'd also want some informed people, some wise people who know about these things, to sit down and talk about this. The National Health Service is too precious for us to be bouncing it around every 5 years between political parties. I'd rather that we actually all sort of shared in a proper discussion about the long-term future of it.
Philip, good to talk to you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Dr. Philip Lee, Conservative MP, and he's also a GP. I'm a poet and I never realise. I love the fact that, and it's good to talk to Philip, and if you want to have your say on that, you're more than welcome. He's the second MP I've heard in a week saying we need to depoliticise the National Health Service. Anyone notice a certain irony there that's coming from an MP who keeps saying we need to depoliticise the National Health Service?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, it's very slow all the way from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead because of the accident. It is on the hard shoulder, but it is causing some long delays, and it's also looking very busy in Luton on Dunstable Road from the M1 junction 11 for Dunstable to Waller Avenue. On the M11 southbound, there are queues from junction 11 for Duxford to junction 8 for Bishop Stortford because of an accident earlier, and there's also a lane blocked on the roundabout at Bishop Stortford on the Stansted side because a lorry's broken down. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's queuing from junction 20 for Kings Langley to 16 for the M40, and in Cheshunt on the A10 southbound, it's looking very slow from the College Road to the Winston Churchill Way at the Lieutenant Ellis Way as well, looking very slow. No major problems showing up on these public transport departure boards. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30 Right, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. There's demands that the founders of a failed girls' academy in Luton should pay back the grant they received. The government has withdrawn its support for the school, which was due to open in September. The family of a 3-year-old girl who was knocked down in Luton have raised £3,000 for a survey of the road where she died. Maya Shahzad was hit by a bus on Dunstable Road 6 months ago. At the Grammys, Sam Smith was the biggest winner of the night, taking 4 awards in Los Angeles. And farmers in Bedfordshire say they've created a new red onion that's not as smelly and less likely to make you cry. Bedfordshire growers in Biggleswade say it's taken 20 years to perfect the variety. The weather will be cloudy with mist and fog patches slow to clear through the day. Top temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius. That's 43 degrees Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
There were wins for Watford and Wickham over the weekend, a draw for Luton but defeat for Stevenage. And fresh from holding the League One leaders Bristol City to a goalless draw, MK Dons visit Bradford this evening. The Dons will check on the fitness of striker Dean Bowditch, who came off injured on Saturday. And the rapid turnaround means a night on the road for Dons boss Carl Robinson and his squad.
We're going to a restaurant now, all the players and the staff, and then we're going off to a hotel, and we're camping in a hotel. Not camping. I say it'll be cold. We're putting our tents up. No. I would have thought of Delhi Monday when I got to the hotel, but no, we're going to set up base at a hotel because our training ground's been frozen. We've not been training grass all week either.
The West Ham manager has accused Manchester United of playing long ball tactics to salvage a draw from their match at Upton Park yesterday. West Ham held on for most of the match before Daley Blind's injury time equaliser. Here's West Ham boss Sam Allardyce.
In the end, we couldn't cope with long ball Man United. They just kept punting it into Fellaini, and in the end it paid off for them. So people say that we play direct, but I've never seen Manchester United play that direct.
And non-league Boreham Wood go to Farnborough in Conference South tonight. Finally, England's cricketers have won their World Cup warm-up match against the West Indies in Australia. England won by 5 runs, having bowled out the West Indies for 122. BBC 3 Counties News and Sport, more at 9 o'clock.
Thank you. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button. Hang on, let's do that again. Thank you.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
He's back.
Geezer?
Yeah, we'll be speaking to...
Geezer?
The Geezer General in a few minutes, but before that, Carol's in Luton.
Hello, Iain.
Morning, Carol. What have you got for us?
Iain, I'm one proud mum this morning.
Why, what happened?
My son, who was born and bred in Luton, educated in Luton, right up into Luton University, won a Grammy last night.
Hey! Is it Sam Smith's mum?
No, I'm not Sam Smith's mum.
Who are you then?
I'm Wes Clark's mum.
Yeah, Wes Clark is much better than Sam Smith, don't you think? He won a Grammy?
Yes, it was in the Best Dance Music Recording, and it was for the best-selling record of the year, which was Rather Be by Clean Bandit.
Now listen, Carol, you are talking to a very, very old man.
The girls will have heard of it.
Shall I bring in the voice of youth? Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Catherine, can you put Kelly on?
How rude. I mean...
Kelly, do you know who Carol is talking about?
Yes.
And have we checked her credentials just to make sure she's not some fantasist
Yes.
who wants a little bit of glory?
Yeah, I have.
You know the song she's talking about too.
Go on.
Do you remember when we went to the Gillards?
Oh, yeah.
Diddle-did-did-did.
Oh, yeah.
That's his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the one.
You must be over the moon, Carol.
Yes, we was watching it live on our iPads and iPhones last night, and we actually saw him go up on stage and collect it.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Did he get to? Yeah. Did they get to make a speech at the Grammys?
He done a speech. Yes.
Oh, man. What does? Because the thing about the Grammys, you get your Brits and your BAFTAs, and you know they're great, but this is in America. This is a Grammy. This is big news.
Yeah. He's been DJ. He started off as a DJ when he was about 9 years old, I suppose.
Yeah.
He became one of Head Candy's international DJs.
Oh, I know Head Candy, yeah.
And then he spent years at home in our garage, which we converted into a little studio for him.
Yeah.
He spent years in there not earning any money.
Yeah.
And now he's got his own studio at London Bridge, and he's doing very, very well.
Did you never say to him, "Now, come on, son, for goodness sakes, when are you going to get rid of all these tape recorders and all of this nonsense and get a proper job?"
Ian, they're still here.
Oh, hey.
He's moved out, but all the stuff's still here.
Put that on eBay, love. You'll get a fortune for that.
Yeah, I know. Well, you see the records we've got in there.
Really?
Thousands of them, yeah.
Was he always musical when he was growing up?
Yes, so I've had another son, and they were both DJs, right from, say, when they were young teenagers. So, yeah, he really was, and he's just followed his dream.
Hang on a minute. Let me bring Dealey.
Hey, morning, boss.
Carol's son he won a Grammy last night at Wes Clark.
Unbelievable. It's a fantastic story, isn't it?
Now listen, because we're both like proper music fans, and the Grammys are almost mythical, aren't they?
Amazing. You know, well, whenever somebody wins a Grammy, that's when you take them really, really seriously. If you're in the business to win a Grammy, that's right up there, isn't it?
Here we go. Ringing any bells, Carol?
Yes, this is it. This is it.
Well, now, Carol, listen, if he wants to do a remix of the remix, he should get me and Justin in.
I think that tune was actually used on an advert recently, wasn't it?
Marks and Spencer's advert.
Yeah, so must have made a few bob from that as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, Carol, let's get down to the figures. Has he bought you a new house yet? What are you still doing in Luton? Come on.
No, he hasn't bought me a new house, but he's a very, very good son.
Did you speak to him last night or this morning?
Well, they're 8 hours behind us, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
I did send him a message through my iPad, and he messaged back, but I've had one this morning to say his battery had gone flat. So
he's a technical wizard, and he's got a flat battery. Oh, Carol, listen, that's so wonderful. You must be so proud of him.
We really are. We really are.
Oh, I'm really glad you gave us a call. That's a really nice call. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Wiki wow wow.
All together. Etc. Add
What a call that was!
What's that song called?
It's like Mount Munga. Did Carol just call in spontaneous? Oh, well done. Well, I tell you what. We'll do that tomorrow. If mums just want to phone up and show off about their kids, phone up and have a boast about your kids tomorrow. They don't need to have won a Grammy.
Can I start?
Go on.
Yesterday, my
this is good, Justin. Listen to this.
This is gold.
Right, yesterday I saw my 3-year-old getting one of the chairs, the dining room chairs. I thought, what's she doing with that? I'll let it go and see what happens. She moved it over to where my record player is. She climbed up on the chair. She opened the catches. It's one of those old-fashioned dance set record players. She put the Ronettes on. Be My Baby, age 3.
Oh,
you're welcome, world.
Wow.
She's taught her well.
That is brilliant.
She even used a little cloth.
This is what we'll do tomorrow. And Justin, maybe you want to go out on the streets and get something on this. We want mums, only mums. We'll do dads another day. Okay, we will do
dad's brags.
Dad's brags, but mums bums. No, mums. No, mums. Anyway,
we'll work it out.
Mothers brothers. No. Tomorrow's show, mums can phone in and brag about their kids, and it doesn't have to be a Grammy. It can be, that they learnt out. My nephew Dylan, who I can never remember his age. I think he's 9 or 10. I don't know. They grow so quickly, don't they? He's going to be 10. Or 9 or 10. He went away for his first week away with the school, right? And when he came back, he started drinking tea. Oh! And my sister texted me the other day saying, Dylan's in the other room, he's drinking tea. So it can be something as ridiculous as that. We will do that tomorrow. I like that.
Great stuff.
Great stuff. Now, Justin, of course, today is a very special day because it's you may not know this. It's the anniversary. Oh, hang on a second, she's still going on. It's a very special anniversary, Justin.
Go on.
Because today is the anniversary of you speaking to this guy.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
Yeah, it's the anniversary of you talking to that guy, Justin.
Absolutely. It's a very special day as well, I believe, and now this is really, really special.
Yeah.
You know Dad Pop?
Yeah. For those who don't know, hang on one second, let's just recap.
Dad Pop Where did that idea come from?
Yeah, it came from my brain.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, it came from his brain. I believe that him and his campaign to get cars off the pavement is going to be featured on the BBC this evening. So I hear.
On the telly?
On the telly,
Dad
yes.
Pop's on telly?
It came from his brain, and now he's going to be on TV.
This is a holy day of celebration. So those that know, Dad Pop is brilliant, and his name escapes me, and it will come to me in a minute.
Bulldog.
The Bulldog.
Yeah.
He's Bikini.
That's
David
the fella.
Bikini.
He basically campaigns to get people to not park on the pavements so that people in wheelchairs can get past. And did you know this, Justin? He gave up on the idea until we went back to him the second time.
Is that right?
He'd given up on the idea, yeah. He'd lost faith in it, and he thought it was pointless.
No.
And then we got in touch to follow up the story. It was all on his Facebook page. And he said, I've been so inspired, and my heart has been warmed by BBC Three Counties Radio, that I've decided I'm going to carry on with Dad Pop. And now he's on the telly.
Yeah, fantastic
now
story.
He's on the telly.
Yeah. He has risen again, and he is up there.
And Justin, your mum should be proud of that, because you took that story and you made it your own. You owned it. In the good sense.
I mean, saying that, my dad's very proud. He sent an email to the whole family recently saying, my son, and of course with you, we became an internet sensation for what we did on the streets of Luton recently.
Yep.
Sent a whole email to everyone in the family. Not one response.
By the way, Lorraine, thank you. Yes, tomorrow it's Mother's Pride.
Excellent.
It's Mother's Pride tomorrow. Now, Justin, I've got no idea what we sent you out.
Shaving.
Oh, yeah, there's a story in the Daily Mail, I suspect a made-up story, suggesting that women should shave their faces, not if they're hairy, just to get rid of the fine hairs, as it will be good for their skin.
Yeah, apparently it helps with the ageing process.
I'm just going to chomp down on one of your hot
one woman who hasn't got enough to do, clearly.
Yeah, so apparently some ladies, according to this feature, it's in a few of the papers this morning, this lady wakes up at 6:30 every single day and she shaves her face, and apparently it helps with the ageing process. First day back, the streets were slightly tense this morning. Towards the end of the feature, things really did take a turn.
I've got to say, Justin, I don't think Matt Lockwood did much peacekeeping in the streets. He was getting... the last package he played on Friday was basically him getting threatened.
Yeah, I actually heard that on the way back from the airport, that one. Yeah, it was great stuff. So what we need this morning is a ladies' perspective special. Yes, let's do it!
Ring the bell.
All the ladies in the house. The ladies.
The Ladies' Perspective with Iain Lee across beds, hearts and bucks.
The ladies. Morning, madam, how are you?
Fine, and how are you?
Very well, thank you. It's a ladies' perspective special this morning. Apparently, according to experts, it helps women age better if they shave their face. Have you ever shaved your face?
Oh, my dear.
Have you ever shaved your face?
No.
Would you ever shave your face, madam?
No, because I wouldn't. It's just weird.
But it helps with the ageing process. We can make the world a much better place.
Yeah, but I don't think that's proven. Shaving your face, men would look younger that way as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the experts are saying. It helps with men.
I don't think men do if they shave.
No?
No.
Do you like my stubble?
It's all right.
Oh, well, I wouldn't do that. Just come back hairier.
Wow, not according to the experts.
It will. When you shave your legs, it comes back thicker.
Hello, boss. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
What do you think about ladies who have facial hair?
Not too bothered.
Thanks for your time.
Right.
How often do you shave your face?
I don't shave my face.
How often do you see ladies with beards?
Every day.
How does that make you feel?
Weird. It's uncomfortable.
What's your advice to any lady listening right now? And this, of course, is a ladies' perspective special. It's all about being honest. What's your message to women out there that have got beards or goatees or even a moustache?
They should shave their faces so it does not traumatize people walking on the road. Yeah.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are still long delays on the M1 southbound from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead after the accident earlier, although all the lanes are open. In Luton on Dunstable Road, it's very slow still from the M1 junction 11 for Dunstable Road to Waller Avenue, and the M1 towards London has queues also building up between junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead and 6 for North Watford. On the M11 southbound, it's easing off now between junction 9 for Saffron Walden and 8 for Bishop Stortford after the accident there earlier, and also it's all open again on the junction 8 Bishop Stortford roundabout after the breakdown. On the M25 there are queues between junctions 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4, and it's also looking really slow on the M40 between junction 3 for High Wycombe East and the M25. On the trains there are reports of any major problems, but on the London Underground, the Metropolitan Line, Circle Line and Hammersmith and City Line have severe delays because of the signalling problem at Euston Square. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. My tea-drinking nephew Dylan is listening. I hope you're slurping on a cup of tea, Dills. You wait till you get on the coffee. Sorry?
No, I don't think you can give them coffee.
Why? It's a free world. We're living in communist China all of a sudden. If he wants coffee with 5 sugars in it, followed by Coca-Cola, then he should have that.
And that, my friend, is the reason why.
I've got to do the news. Hang on. I'm laughing about a child drinking tea. It always makes me feel funny when I know it makes me feel funny when I know my family are listening. I wish they wouldn't.
My little ones drink tea, but then again, we are dead common.
When I used to drink tea as a child, it always tastes nicer if I drank it from the spoon.
Oh.
So I would just get it from the spoon.
I used to just drink the leftovers.
We're talking about tea, not beers and vodkas and gingins.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Try gin, Dylan. 8:40. Morning, Pepper, by the way. I have to say, though, she'll get upset. Mummy, why is Dylan in the corner being sick and crying and holding his shoe like a baby? Oh, I really can't be bothered. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a rather grey day across all 3 counties. Temperatures above 0 this morning, so it's feeling a bit milder, especially compared to last week. But this cloud is really stubborn. Could get 1 or 2 brighter spells further north you go, perhaps out towards parts of Bedfordshire, perhaps. But in the most part, it is going to be quite grey. Temperatures up to around 8 or 9 Celsius later. If you do manage to get some sunshine, it will perhaps sneak up a degree more. Overnight, still some cloud, clearer spells though, and when we get the breaks, the temperature will drop a little further. Could get some mist and fog developing. Minimum temperature in the most part above 0, but in some rural spots it could dip down to 0, so maybe a sparkle or 2 of frost in those places tomorrow morning. Tomorrow it's just very similar. We've got plenty of cloud, maybe 1 or 2 brighter spells, light winds, and a maximum temperature of 8, maybe 9 Celsius. And then it's repeat again for Wednesday. Our next change really comes later on Thursday, where the wind picks up, turning wet and windy as we head through Friday. And that's your forecast.
So, I've got to do this.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk about your story. They're little globules of it's chocolate. What is that sticking out of that?
That's the abdomen of the ant.
Roberto Perroni.
Film critic Richard Fitzwilliams, welcome to the programme. Richard, will you be watching Rambo 5?
They are unsubtle, they are silly, and they do not appeal.
Overweight people are being ignored, humiliated and insulted on a regular basis.
When you're in the supermarket, people watching what you're picking up and passing comments.
Can I ask you, Claudette, what does it cost to have a cycle of IVF when you decide, well, I have to have children?
It all totaled to nearly £25,000. When you're in such a low and desperate place, you'll do anything.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is why I can't be trusted with knobs. I've just managed to finish off that pretty much that whole packet of hobnobs.
You?
Good for you, man.
No, it's not good for me. I'd lost a lot of weight and now I'm putting it back on again.
In biscuit.
I went to Bletchley Park at the weekend.
Oh, yeah. I know it well.
Knife expensive, isn't it?
Yes.
Really expensive.
But it's a national treasure.
It's great. I really enjoyed it. I thought some of the huts were a little bit boring. There's some where there's not a lot in there. And I was, for £16.75, I was expecting a bit more. But I did enjoy it.
But you chose a nice day for it as well.
Oh, really nice. It's great. Great grounds. I had a roast dinner there. I won't get the roast. The beef was a little bit... It was like it was cooked in the wartime. I don't know if that's the vibe they were going for. But I did enjoy it. It was a really nice day, actually, yesterday. But the reason that I stayed there quite as long is because you and... what's the fellow with the glasses called? We just spoke to him. Scoinsey.
And Helen Lee.
You're all the main attractions.
Yep.
You're all part of the furniture there.
Yep. My face on a radiator.
Yep. Saw that. Nice grill.
Is that because you were there in the war?
Who was that? Whose stomach was that?
That was you,
That wasn't me. No, that was Kelly, and she knows it was.
Who gurgled?
No, I actually spoke.
Oh, okay.
It was you gurgling.
It wasn't me gurgling. It was coming from there. It was in my ear, not in my belly. But I'd see what was good there. So you look out for... And you and Scoins are speaking, and I didn't spot you the first time.
It's because I was doing a voice.
Oh, I've got...
I do my... Oh, this is terribly difficult.
I recorded Scoins on my phone, but I haven't got my phone. But I tell you what I really enjoyed is as you're leaving, on the left and the outside, there's a little sign that says the Radio Museum. And I was leaving, I thought, oh, I'm here, I've paid, I probably won't come back. I'll go and have a look at the Radio Museum. And I went in there, and there was a fella there. So I said, if I have a look around, oh, yeah, please do. And you're walking around, it's a little bit dry. Okay, there's a little bit dry. It's not a lot there to do. And then I turned a corner, and lo and behold, there was Nirvana, not the group, the actual Heavenly Vision. There was a fella sat there with two massive pieces of equipment with numbers on and dials and flashing knobs. And I went, all right, fella, what you doing? He said, this is your ham radio set. My jacket was off. I sat down. I wheeled up and said, right, my name's Iain. Nice to meet you. He was Peter. I said, Peter, talk me. 25 minutes talking to Peter about ham radio.
I bet he loved that.
He loved it. I loved it. We were listening to Russia.
Mrs. Peter is relieved that she doesn't have to hear about it when he goes home.
Well, I did say the bit of equipment he was playing with was about $5,000. The other equipment was $1,000. He says I could get one for about $450 though.
What were your boys doing at this time?
They weren't now. I went to home.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I went to home. Screw those losers. And I'm thinking ham radio is going to be my new thing. You've got to get a licence. But he gave me magazines. He told me where the clubs are near me.
You don't need that.
Why is it called ham radio?
Because you order ham.
You don't need that.
Why?
Get some walkie-talkies, right? I can talk to any cabbie in a 6-mile radius.
Cabbies. I want to listen to. I want to listen to Russia. I want to talk to Russia.
Halfway through,
do that on World Service.
Halfway through them saying where they're going to do the next pickup, they'll hear me shouting to the kids, "Put her down! Put her down!"
I was genuinely excited by this, and I'll either see this through to its natural conclusion, and this will be my life, or I'll get bored of it this afternoon. We'll see what happens.
Where are you going to put it? 'Cause
I've got a good idea.
Fridge.
Chris is from Luton. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Chris, what would you like to say?
Well, this argument about smokers having to pay for their own medication or treatment at a hospital.
Yeah.
People that smoke and work are paying national insurance, which contributes towards keeping the NHS going.
Yeah.
Why should I pay for treatment if I do become ill through smoking when people who don't work are allowed to go on the NHS and have their treatment for free, yet they paid nothing into it?
Well,
maybe I should complain about having to pay for them.
She's got me there, Catherine. She's right. Let's take the unemployed off of... No, because the NHS is there to look after the most vulnerable, and the unemployed, it could be said, are vulnerable people. The implication you're making is that they're lazy, when I would suggest, Chris, that the majority of them are.
No, I'm not making that. What I'm saying is, if we're all going to have to put a bit in, right... Anyone that is, it's not their fault they're disabled, but personally I have a view about young ladies that get pregnant and have babies because it's their right and they've never put any contribution in, right? That annoys me, but I allow it because I pay into the National Health the system forever.
Very generous, yep.
Right? Sorry, that come across all... blah, blah, blah. But if I have to pay for my own personal insurance, say like with Bupa or someone, then may I take my contribution out of my national insurance contributions to pay for my own medication? I don't think that would be good because it wouldn't be spread across everyone. That would just be me being selfish for me.
Why don't you stop smoking, Chris?
I've tried a couple of times, but I'm addicted, man.
Yeah, tell me, man.
It's
addictive. It is addictive, man.
Yeah, and if I was a drug addict, I would have help and free drugs to come off it.
You get free help from the NHS to get off smoking.
Yeah.
To get off smoking.
No, I tried it a couple of times, and because I work, it's impossible because they want you to check in with them when they want you to check in with them.
But it would still be free. So just because it doesn't fit,
I'm not taking the day off of work because that's then costing me a day's pay.
I'm not having that, Chris. I'm not having that just because it doesn't fit into your schedule. It's still free. You can't do that.
I'm not. Just give me Wait. Yes. Pay for prescriptions, and what they want you to get is on prescription as well. So I am paying. So don't give me it's free. It's not free because I pay national insurance contributions.
Chris, have we ever spoken before, Chris?
Not me and you, but I was speaking to someone last week. Don't try to put me down. I will not have it. I am marching forward with this.
Oh, no, what I'm saying is, Chris, I like you. I want you to call again.
I'll call you any time. I'd love to have spoken to your Conservative member, but unfortunately she's gone. And that's something I want to take up with her as well. And Gavin Shooker, oh my God, I would put him in a box and leave him.
Oh, Chris!
Moran, oh, don't even get me started.
Right, go away, you lunatic. Oh.
Bye, Chris. Call us again.
Oh, Chris, I'll try and call. If it fits into your schedule... Try and call about 7:30 in the morning. Because I could speak to you I could be spoken to by you. I could be shouted at by you all morning. That's what you want, a bit of spunking out, listeners.
And my ears bleeding.
Oh, Chris, that was excellent. Thank you. You spoke a load of rubbish, but you spoke it wonderfully.
Now.
Yes.
Kissing cats.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I know you said you quite like annoying them by staring at them.
I've just seen a picture of Justin Dealey on the beach, sorry.
I know, I can't get that out of my mind.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do to a cat is watch it while it's having a poo.
There's something else you can do.
Yep.
You stare at them while they're doing that.
Yep.
And then just as it gets unbearable for the cat, and you can tell they're getting a bit... Because they do a face, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, they look full of shame.
You
Shaming a cat.
very slowly close your eyes.
What is
you know what that is?
No.
Cat kiss. So you've wound them up and then blown them a kiss. They hate it.
What a cat kiss? Where have you learnt this?
Catists out there know this. This is how cats kiss you. Apart from with their mouths, with their rough tongues. But they close their eyes really slowly. It's
interesting.
It's a come on. It's a catty come on.
I was listening to Radio 4 and they were talking about cat psychology.
Yeah.
And in fact, I recorded... have I got it? Yeah, I recorded a little bit of Radio 4, cat psychology. You know when cats claw your lap? Do you know what that is?
I have no idea. Why do they do that?
Well, have a listen to this show from Radio 4 at the weekend.
Have you ever seen a cat, when it gets into its basket, it'll turn and turn and turn and stick its paws into the bottom? Right. And it sounds when it gets on your lap and it digs its paws into your leg because it thinks it's going to sleep on a snake.
And that is from Radio 4. That is from Radio 4, of all places. Justin Dealey has... It's Carpet Martin's birthday. Happy birthday, Carpet Martin.
Maybe he's trying to break the internet a la Kim Kardashian.
Justin Dealey... Carpet Martin has asked for a topless picture of Justin Dealey. And Dealey's obliged!
But he's topless, but he's carrying a bag.
Yeah, that's his top's in there, isn't it?
But why?
Well, where else is he going to put his top if not on his body? It's a great picture.
Has he got his T-shirt hanging out of his shorts? What's that?
I really don't want to know.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there are long delays from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead after the accident earlier. All the lanes are open, but it's still very slow. On the A1M southbound, it's looking really slow on the speed sensors approaching junction 7 for Stevenage. Rob called to say that it's really slow at the tailbacks from junction 10 for 10, and that's because of a car that's broken down in the fast lane of the motorway, so we'll look into that more for you. On the M11, all the lanes have reopened at junction 8 for Bishop Stortford, and the delays are easing off there now. And the A1 northbound is very slow from the M25 junction 23 for South Mims, with queues backing up from Boreham Wood. On the trains, no reports of any major delays, but on the underground, the Metropolitan line, the Circle line and the Hammersmith and City line all have severe delays because of a signalling problem at Euston Square. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. That's it. That's your lot from us today. Great to have you back, J-Dog. Thank you, Kelly Betts. Thank you, Catherine Boyle. Thank you, Wes Clark's mum. Back tomorrow at 6. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Monday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, do you think giving men 4 weeks paternity leave is a good use of government